welcome to the Get At Gaming Plus podcast, where we pretty much just talk about whatever we want to talk about at this point. I am Alex,
I'm Ben.
and we have a special guest here today. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Say your name, I guess.
I'm always so bad about introducing myself. Especially on my streams, I've been really bad about when I get raids now. I'm just like, oh yeah, I should probably introduce myself, huh?
Yeah, you kind of sound like, I don't know if you watch The Simpsons or like old Simpsons, but you sound like Dr. Nick. Hi, everybody.
Oh my God, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but
Hi, everybody. My name's Gluten Free Waifu. If you guys don't know me, or you call me Michaela, that is my real name. I also do Twitch streaming on this platform, and I am a JRPG streamer that focuses on first playthroughs.
Cool. But yeah, pretty much this podcast here, we talk about whatever we want to talk about, whether that is video games, whether that is news, video game news, not actual news. Actual news is gross. We talk about TV, we talk about movies, we talk about whatever we like, anime, all that stuff. So if you like seeing us here for the first time, if this is your first time here looking at us on Twitch, we are also on YouTube, youtube.com/getatgaming. We're also on pretty much every podcast service. If you just search for Get At Gaming, we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Pandora. I found that out recently. I didn't know
What?
that. Yeah, we're on Pandora.
I forgot Pandora was a thing.
I forgot it was a thing too until like our analytics said like Pandora. Nobody's listening there.
I applied for that like months ago to get on there, and we never heard back. And so I just figured we didn't get on there, but we got iHeart, and I was like, "Hey, Alex, we didn't get this, but we got this."
Yeah.
So if we're on there now, that means that we're in.
We're in, I guess.
I mean,
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you can listen to us anywhere. If you hate our faces, but if you love our faces, then you can either catch the live streams when we do it sometimes, or youtube.com/getatgaming. This, as we're live recording this, this episode is actually going to show up next week, this upcoming week, or depending on how you're watching this. Anyway, we're talking about the PlayStation not state of play. I wish it was a state of play. PlayStation Showcase. So if you want to listen to our stuff like that, you can find us on youtube.com or any podcast service you want. But today is a special day. Not just because we're live streaming and it's weird, but we are also talking about, as you can see, the horrible text notepad document over there on the left. It says top 5 RPGs or JRPGs, I guess, technically. Because yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about. So each of us have brought 5 different RPGs, JRPGs. Yeah, so let me pull up something here really quick. Where did it go? I just had it. Geez, this is awesome time here. Okay. I'd like to pull this up because we kind of talked about it before the show started, but we actually did have a writer write in somewhat. So I wanted to go over it first here, from our very own friend of the show who made our logo, Zemus, aka Rob. He had a question here for us. He wanted to know if there's ever been a Western RPG that we've loved. So like whether that's like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Mass Effect, Star Wars, like KOTOR, Diablo, etc. So I'll throw it to Ben first. Ben, are there any, like, what's like a Western RPG that you love? Because we're going to talk about JRPGs for the majority of this. Right. So I thought I might as well just throw this here. Otherwise, it's going to get lost at the end of it where we're just talking about other things.
Right. Well, first off, thank you, Rob. Love interacting with him in the streams and stuff. I'm going to go with Mass Effect. Didn't care for the first one so much as the second one. The second one was fantastic. And I won't do any spoilers because I know that the definitive collection is out. And I'm only talking about 1 through 3. I'm not talking about
Andromeda.
No, we're not talking about that. That's awful. It's I think what I really liked about it was the story, and then you had to make decisions. I think the gameplay in 2 and 3 is much better. It does kind of feel more of like a shooter when you get to 3. Um, it definitely has that feel
Mhm.
there, but like recruiting and like who you recruit, who you get really close with, and then making like major decisions. Whether that now also the thing I liked was in 2, if you do everything correctly, whoever survives in 2 can go into 3, and you can have them on your team in 3, which I thought is like a really really cool idea. You don't see very often with sequels. Um, but that's like I would say that would be my top pick there. I mean, Fallout 3 was one of my other favorites.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just something new that I hadn't seen, and I never had played any of the Fallout games
I
before.
mean, the other ones were different. The other ones
Yeah,
were kind of like RTS type over the top PC games. This was really the first one where they're like, "Hey, let's make it a shooter. Let's make it
and
more
I bought
RPG."
all the DLC for it, which was crazy. PlayStation 3, the only time I bought all the DLC was for the Batman game. So,
Mhm.
um, that to me was like an awesome game. The only problem was in that game is you would get really far and it would glitch out and not save. And so the one time I had been playing for like 5 hours and it glitched, and
Oh
everything in that 5 hours was gone.
no.
Yes. And so
Oh.
I had to start all over again. Uh
I love Bethesda, right?
so much more swearing happened at that point. But I still think today it's still a good I still think those are the top two. I actually own Mass Effect. I bought it for PS4 because I
Mhm.
wanted that upgraded version.
Mhm.
One's not very good, and Andromeda is kind of like, hey, I want to have really good tacos. So you go to Taco Bell. Not the
Wow,
same.
wow, come on. Taco Bell is great bad food though.
I
I
had
mean, it
Taco Bell
is, but if you
yesterday.
want a real taco, that's not where you go.
That depends
No,
on
it's not.
yeah,
No.
I guess so. If you want a Mexican pizza though, that's where you go.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
man, the
They
Mexican
brought
pizza.
those back.
They're so good. I get them every week. It's horrible for me, but you
Do
know,
you
it's
really?
yeah. Every Saturday we go to Taco Bell. My Taco
Oh,
Bell
I
probably
love
knows me
that.
at that point. But yeah, cool. Yeah, Mass Effect is definitely a good one. Fallout and stuff like that. I guess I'll go now since now I'm kind of segueing into it. Sorry, Michaela. But
You're good. You're good.
so Elder Scrolls are awful games. You're gonna get you're gonna get
Oh,
the one here right now.
Wow.
So I'm
And
I'm
now we're
half kidding. I'm
canceled.
half not. But
you're gonna
like
get some angry comments.
but yeah. So Skyrim's bad. I'm gonna say that right now. Skyrim's really bad. Skyrim is a janky game. Skyrim never works. Same thing with Fallout 3 a little bit to a degree. But you know what? I like Fallout 3 more because I like sci-fi, I like post-apocalyptic stuff, so I can get past the jank. Whereas Skyrim, it's very high fantasy, it's very Lord of the Rings, and I hate Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna be honest with that too. I really like The Hobbit, but I hate the Lord of the Rings. So
Oh no.
that's a me problem. So like don't yeah, whatever. But I'm still gonna tell you that your game's bad. So Skyrim's bad. Um, but I streamed it. I hated that time. I cheesed the game, and everyone was shocked how I was doing so well because I cheesed it. Like there is, what was it? Like there are like orcs or something, like some big enemy, and I'm not supposed to like fight them yet.
Are
And
you talking about the
yeah,
Giants?
the giants maybe. And then
Yeah.
I found
Oh,
out how to like get away from them. So I would just like shoot them with arrows, and I ran into the water and just kind of chilled in the water, and then they forget about me. And I go back up and start shooting them again, and then I go back into the water. Just rinse and repeat. It took like 20 minutes, but I
Uh,
beat them. But yeah, no, I did not really enjoy that game, to be honest. I'm never gonna play it again. I have Skyrim VR as well, and that probably would make me even more sick.
I forgot they have VR.
Yeah, because it came with my PlayStation VR, like the first one.
Oh, is that's the like the free game it came with?
Yeah, because it came
Oh,
it
okay.
came with because I got like the Move controllers with it.
Yeah.
Because you could either buy just like the VR headset itself, because there were some games that just use the DualShock 4 controller, or you could get the actual Move controllers. And at the time, you couldn't really find Move controllers anywhere.
Mhm.
So it was just easier to just buy the bundle and then try out Skyrim VR, and I hated it, and it was awful time. But anyway, yeah, I like Fallout 3 fine. Fallout New Vegas is really good. If we're talking about Mass Effect again, Mass Effect 2 is awesome. That's really the only one I played besides Mass Effect 1. I never played 3. Maybe someday I will. And then yeah, Andromeda I never touched. But KOTOR 2, Knights of the Old Republic, both of those games are excellent. I almost said Dragon's Dogma. That's more of a Capcom JRPG type thing. So never mind. I had another one in my head. Oh, I thought of it, but it kind of steals stuff from JRPGs. The first South Park game, the South Park Stick of
Oh
Truth,
my gosh.
Oh
is really,
yes.
really good because it plays like Paper Mario. It plays like Mario RPG or something like that. And so, yeah, that I really like timed hit mechanics and stuff like that in video games. And so, that's why I really, really like that game. I didn't really like the second one as much because it was a tactics game. I'm not really fond of tactics games, but yeah, that's what I would say for those types of games. But yeah, Michaela, what about you? Are there any that you've tried before? Anyone that you don't really that you vibe with, or
No, not really. I never really played Western RPGs unless you count like Lego Star Wars, but like I never played like Western RPGs, but like I do want to play like The Witcher or what else is there? One day I want to give like Skyrim a try, but it's janky. It's not my cup of tea, but like I said with like mods, it'd probably be fun. Um but there's not like really any Western RPGs that like really catch my eye
Mhm.
besides probably the Witcher series, which I'll eventually get to one of these days, but my backlog is way too long.
And even then, a lot of people just really. It sounds like you can just jump into 3 for the most part, 2 and 3.
Yeah.
No one really talks about
Yeah,
the first one. I've
I know. Every time
noticed.
I see somebody stream it, it's always 2 or 3. I'm like, what happened to 1?
Yeah, I really don't. I don't even know like if the first one came to consoles. Now I'm thinking about it. It might have
Oh,
been
is
a
it just
P. It
PC?
might have been a PC only thing, and then 2 and 3 came out because I remember back in my days working at GameStop. Fun. We would always have Witcher 2, and then eventually like Witcher 3. So yeah, I'm not sure if Witcher ever did come for those consoles, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, let's get to some of these games. So again, people, we are talking about each of our top 5 RPGs, JRPGs. Mine is technically not in any particular order, so I hope you didn't have to order them, Michaela. I hope you didn't
Oh, I
do that.
did order mine,
Oh,
but
geez.
I already have that
Okay.
list before I came on
No,
here cuz
I don't have that list actually. Like
Oh, that's fine.
I kind of do and kind of don't. So like a lot
It's
of these
it's
things
hard
are on
to
my
put them
yeah,
it's
they're on
hard to
my
put them in
top 10.
order.
So like
Okay,
a lot of these are on my top 10. So like maybe if I move stuff around, then I could make an actual ordered list, but mine isn't. Mine's just whatever I'm grabbing over here since I
I
have
just
them.
put mine. I put mine in order like that, like my number 1 and then my number 5. So my number 5, that's like my out of the top 5. But
Okay.
then I have a number 1.
So I'm the only person who didn't order their stuff. Okay. Uh, that's
I
fine.
have to because I get asked that a lot. They're like, "What's your number 1? What's your like your top 3?" And I'm just like, hold on." So I already got it.
I misunderstood the assignment.
You know what? I might have actually ordered these.
Oh my gosh.
I figured you were going to order yours. For the many years I've known you, Alex, um, when we've done lists or whatever, you're like the one that's prepared and you've got it like all in order. And
No,
then usually it's me and other
I am
people
the
that
bad
don't.
student who got distracted and realized I had to do this in 30 minutes. So that's what I did. I just kind of was like, what are my favorite games? What are my favorite JRPGs? And I just like look at my shelf. I'm like, yeah, that. Cool. So yeah, apparently mine is in order. So
Oh, there you go.
yeah, we're good to go
Perfect.
here. Yeah, I know how to podcast. I know how to do things properly, I think. So So yeah, because of the way that I made the list here, Michaela has to go first because
Oh, I'm fine with that.
that's how it shows over here. I don't know. I don't know how to point. So yeah.
I do the same thing. I'm like, which I have to always look at the back of my room when I point to something. I'm like,
Yeah.
which way is my camera facing?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. What's
So
your
my number 5 was Breath of the Wild until Tears of the Kingdom came out. So Tears of the Kingdom is my 5th favorite game, even though I am not done with it yet. It's already taken that spot. It's in my top 5 already. So, I mean, I love Breath of the Wild, but Breath of the Wild was great, but it was
Mhm.
definitely the stepping stone for Tears of the Kingdom.
I agree, 100%. I've played a lot of that game. Some would say too much of that game already because I'm already over 50 hours, I think, technically.
I think I am too, and I barely had time to play.
Yeah, like I finally like have done main story stuff without any spoilers. Like I've done all like the main story location stuff. And
Oh, okay.
so now I'm trying to go for the gold because at this point I'm just like I'm really enjoying these games, but I need to get back to other things. I still have Xenoblade 2 to
I do
play.
too.
I still have all this other stuff, and I was the stupid person who decided to start Xenoblade 2 the week before Zelda came out.
Oh,
And I love Xenoblade 2. That's on my list, but like I love that game so much better than the first one. So the that's why I was kind of upset. I was like, man, why is Zelda actually so good? Because now I have to play this game. But yeah, no, Tears of the Kingdom's great. What specifically? I guess light spoilers for people. I don't really care. Ben, do you care about spoilers for yourself? Because I'm not.
No, I was actually watching my son play
Okay.
that yesterday downstairs here, and I was telling her when you were away for a minute,
Mhm.
I really do want to play the first one now.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
it's
I
so
mean,
good.
I mean, I've already seen enough on like on YouTube and stuff. So spoil away.
Okay. But yeah, I just wanted to say, well, first of all, yeah, definitely play the first one first because, like Michaela said, the the first one happens, and then the second one, it's a direct sequel, but also it builds upon the original so much so that I think people will have a harder time going back to the first one.
I
In
agree.
my opinion. Whereas something like Ocarina of Time versus Majora's Mask, they're essentially the same game, just with different story element stuff, to where they're both really enjoyable. Um, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is just better. So what specifically do you like about Tears of the Kingdom then, Michaela?
I really like the shrines in this one.
Because they're
They're
actually good.
Yeah, like because the previous ones, like I did struggle in Breath of the Wild with the shrines, but I feel like the shrines in the first game are more physically demanding, and this one's like more mentally demanding. Like you really gotta like figure out the puzzles in this game. Now that you could craft stuff,
Yeah,
that's like my other favorite part. I actually love the crafting. When I first saw it on the trailer, I was like, "Oh gosh, I'm gonna suck at the crafting.
that's how everyone
It's gonna
was.
make this game miserable. I'm gonna hate it."
Mhm.
I love it. It's so good. Like, I don't know, it's because I played Animal Crossing growing up, but like I love crafting things.
Yeah,
So yeah, this game's just there's just so much more to do. There's way more to do, and there's a ton to do in Breath of the Wild, but
yeah.
this one's like really endless.
Yeah, it's when you were streaming at some point. I don't know, you streamed so much, I can't
I
think of
know.
it. But there was that puzzle that you were doing where you had to like have the board just right to like go through the slot, and then
Oh
also with
gosh.
the thing. I struggled on that forever. And then I eventually did what you did. The only difference is that I used the ability like the whatever you call that, the grab hand thing. Um I use that to float it above and like just wait. This is what I do a lot. I just like float things to where I need it to be. I wait for like 10 seconds and then I bring it back and then I jump on it and then I do the time recall thing. And
Yeah.
then I just like let it sit there for like when it's waiting, turn it off and the fans are already going and it just goes for it. Like I use that to skip a lot of things. Just
That's a good idea.
just because like there are a lot of there is like a shrine like that later where it expects you to like actually like hold something up for a while and then let it go, so then you can do the ascend thing, because otherwise you're too short, you
Yeah.
can't grab onto the ledge. So I use that ability, those two abilities in tandem a
I
lot.
use Ascend a lot. That's why I think I love this game so much more. Especially like when you're trying to climb a mountain and you see some rocks sticking out and
Yeah.
you just ascend through the oh my god, it's such a lifesaver.
How much of or I guess how much of the underground stuff have you done?
I have done 0
Okay.
because I went down there one time and I
Scary.
was like, hell no, I will come back when I have like 20 hearts.
Well, you don't necessarily need that. You just need the bloom things, the seeds. And
Yes,
then
which
just
I have a ton of
yeah, so
those.
just
Just
use those, attach them to arrows, and then just explore. That's what I do. Um, one thing that I don't think it's really a spoiler; it's more of a helpful hint that I found out is that
mhm.
every shrine in the underground, there's a route there to like make it brighter. So as long as you like
Oh.
mark your shrine in like in the same exact place, then you will know like, all right, this is where a route's gonna be in the underground. So then you can just like plot your way, and vice versa. So like if you have
Oh,
roots
I didn't
underneath
know
there,
that.
they all connect to shrines.
Oh,
So it just makes it
that's
easier
cool.
to, I don't know, plot your trajectory for like later
Yeah.
um exploring.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I found that out randomly from a YouTube video, and they're like, "Yeah, everyone knows this." I'm like, "No, I don't.
No, we
I
don't.
don't know
We
this
don't
at
want to go
all."
down there.
Yeah, but yeah, I love the underground compared to like the sky, because the sky is what they really showed off the most, and then
There's
um
not a whole lot up there.
there isn't. It feels kind of like a false advertising thing, but then once you get to the
Yeah.
underground, you're like, "Oh, you didn't talk about this at all," and it's amazing. I
I
really
love
like
that they
this.
didn't talk about that because I think everybody was like, "What's this?" And then went down there and everybody was surprised by it, by
Yeah,
what is down there.
yeah,
And they're all different.
exactly. But yeah, no, Zelda's a great one. Yeah, definitely deserving of these spots here. I am not putting any Zeldas on mine because I don't know why. I have other things I like more.
There's
But
too many
but
games.
also like I still feel like for me personally it's too new. Otherwise I probably would have put Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on here. But like I still barely scratched the surface with that one. Whereas like with Zelda, if you play enough of it, like you know you already enjoy it. You already know like this is a great game, even if you haven't done the actual story. It's just so big, and yeah, it's Zelda's great. Zelda's awesome. So good pick. Um, all right, the way it goes, Ben. What is your number 5?
I feel like the best part about this is our lists are going to be so
Completely
completely
different.
different.
Yep.
I know.
Yeah, which is good though. I think it brings a variety. So my number 5 is Dark Cloud 2.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, I know, right?
I
I was
wasn't
gonna.
expecting
how
that.
do I have that back? No, it's my living room. I have Dark Cloud
Uh,
2. That's a great game.
yeah, I picture a much younger Ben working at Blockbuster,
Dark
and
Chronicle is what it's called. You should
I,
know.
I, you know, I had my PS2. I played Dark Cloud, which was good, but like this one, like blew me out of the water because it was different graphics. It looked much better and just much better gameplay, much better
Mhm.
elements. And the story was completely different. And so, like for me, that has to be on my top 5 list. It was like it was definitely something in the later cycles of the PlayStation 2, but man, it was just so good. And the crazy thing is I think it's on PlayStation Plus right now.
Oh, is it?
It might be, yeah, because Dark
I
Cloud and
think
Dark
so.
Cloud 2 were added to PS4 a long while back. So
Oh, do you have to play the first one or can you start with
you
the
can just
second
play with the
one?
No,
second. They're not really
yeah,
connected. It's only an American
Oh,
thing as to why they connected them.
I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna go see if it's on
yeah.
PS Plus.
It's such old school like RPGs,
Yeah,
and this there's other games on here when I really started playing role playing, but like
Mhm.
this was like me introduction into like different role playing. I had a Super Nintendo, I had a Nintendo, I had a Genesis, but those didn't really have those role playing games were really not what I
Mhm.
really liked. Like I personally own Final Fantasy on NES. I do. But I would probably never play that one. But like another game on my list is what kicked me off. And so after I played this other one, I was like instantly drawn into anything that was role playing, you know?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Especially learning about the like ones that were a JRPG. Yeah, this one just blew. I remember because we got like free rentals for like 7 days or whatever. This thing was late all the time. As much money as I spent on late fees, I could probably have just bought it. But it was
Yeah.
fantastic, and it really pushed the limits of what that PlayStation 2 could do.
Yeah, it has really good art style and stuff too. It's cell shaded. Um
Okay.
I forget, is it turn based? I don't remember.
You know what? I'm having a hard time
I
remembering.
just remember the atmosphere and like the
Yeah,
kind of like the maps and how things go. But yeah, I remember enjoying that game a lot. And I personally don't like the original Dark Cloud. Just the surviving mechanics and stuff. You have to like make sure you have enough water, otherwise you can
yeah.
just die of dehydration and stuff like
Oh.
that. Um, but yeah, I'm not paying to the chat, but I am kind of. It's more of action like Zelda. Apparently,
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I think that's what got me too, because it wasn't I don't remember it being turn-based, but more of that, um, and the exploration and stuff like that, but I loved the colors.
Yeah.
It's funny looking at, like, graphics now, but back then when you would play this, you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is, like, the best graphics ever." Anytime they color shaded stuff,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I remember just
Yeah.
playing hours of that game.
It's like when Wind Waker happened, you're like, "Oh, this is beautiful." And it's still
Yeah,
beautiful even to
I
this
really
day.
like Wind Waker style.
It's so good. Or like when Dragon Ball fighting games decided to finally do cell shading. Like I think cell
Mhm.
shading perfects anime styles a lot.
Yeah.
Cuz Budokai 1 looks like trash, but Budokai 2 looks really really nice, and same thing with 3. Because they have that cell shading, and then they perfect that cell shading even more and more, even with fighters and the Kakarot game. So, um, yeah,
Fighters looks amazing.
yeah, fighters is awesome.
Yeah.
I love anything
I don't
Dragon
like
Ball
playing with
based.
my kids. I don't like playing it with my kids because they beat me all the time, which I'm pretty sure my one son's watching. He texted me. He said he sent me a screenshot of this right now.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Number one son?" Question mark. Just fishing for brownie points, aren't
Oh
you?
yeah.
Oh my
Let's
gosh.
see.
Children are great.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Uh. All right. Well, I guess I will. When did this happen? What happened to my case? Oh no. Um. Yeah. Apparently, there's like a dent in my case, but this is a childhood case, so it's fine. Um. I For my number 5, I guess what I will be doing, man. So on a good day, these could change at any point for me. I
Yep.
feel for
I
the most
agree.
part. Um, I might regret this later, but my number 5, and for audio listeners, I'm gonna be showing stuff because I like to show off. My number 5 is Kingdom Hearts. Um, or
The
Kingdom
first one?
or Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, the first one.
Okay.
I really like the first one a lot. It is the game that brought me into really, really liking JRPGs. It's the first PS2 game I ever played. Played at a friend's house. Um, that's a game that I can play again and again and like
Mhm.
mostly not be frustrated. Especially now that I know how things work and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I I am not really I don't really get lost too much unless it is what's the place? Like deep jungle or something. I get lost there. But
Oh,
otherwise like I'm pretty fine with playing anywhere else in that game. But yeah, no, Kingdom Hearts original is excellent. It is a weird amalgamation of Disney and Square Enix, and yeah, I really like action RPGs like as well. And
Hmm.
because of like playing these games a lot, I started to play more of like other Final Fantasies down the line. And some maybe one is on this list. Who knows? Um, but yeah, so I mean, you have experience with the first one and the second one, right, Michaela? Because
Yeah,
you
I
played the second one.
started Birth by Sleep, and that was right before Crisis Core came out. So unfortunately, I dropped it for Crisis Core. Um, but I know if I play Birth by Sleep, that one will probably make it to my top 5.
Is I forget. Is Birth by Sleep the one that you need to play next? Or technically, or is it 358? What's the
I think
release
I
order?
technically have to play 358. But I
Yeah.
was gonna do Birth by Sleep next. I do own 358 on the DS.
Yeah.
But I just haven't started. Yeah, I was gonna do that one off stream, and
Yeah.
I gotta see if my DS still works. That's the main question.
Yeah.
I keep buying all these DS games for my collection. I'm like, I don't know if my DS even works anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
um
Nintendo product. Those things are like built like
I
tanks.
I have never had a DS or a Game Boy, whichever version, like die on me before. Never
Yeah,
have.
all my
Like,
DSs have a broken R button.
really?
Hmm.
that's so that's so
I think it's
crazy. It's
because of
the
how
same thing.
I think I put them in my pocket like when I was a kid.
Oh, I always saw kids doing that.
So like because it was in my pocket and like it was probably like hitting that button too much.
Mhm.
They fixed it in the later DS lights, like the way that the spring is, because I guess dust gets in there and it just kind of gets jammed.
Oh,
um
okay. That
but
makes sense.
yeah, most of my DSs just have a bad R button. I've tried to fix it before, but in order to do that, I would have to like take apart the button entirely and replace it with another one. I was like, I'm not doing that. So I put it back together and just left it there. But yeah, no, yeah, Kingdom Hearts is great. Kingdom Hearts is one of my favorite series. I own almost all of it in Japanese now as well.
Huh.
Um so like that's what this is. So going back and playing stuff, like this is the original Kingdom Hearts. This is the original Kingdom Hearts that we got. Rated E,
Mhm.
E for everyone. This is the Japanese Kingdom Hearts that came out. So this has Japanese audio and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
then this is the one I'm more familiar with now. This is the final mix version for Japan.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Final Mix is what's on all the new collections and stuff like that.
Yes.
Even then, it's a remade version of this since they lost the source code, so they had to remake Kingdom Hearts 1 for
Oh,
those
I didn't
things.
know
Yeah.
that.
So the Final Mix versions have English audio. So that is a definite difference there. So if you're ever wanting to listen to like the Japanese audio, you'll have to get the
Mhm.
original versions of those games in Japanese. Because
Oh, yeah, because yeah, I
otherwise, yeah,
never paid attention if you could change that in the settings on Final Mix or not.
no, you can't.
You
You
can't.
you just get,
Oh.
because according to how they work over there, maybe it's Nomura or someone. Um, the English voice acting, like that is the definitive one that they want. Probably because that's where all the actual Disney characters are from and all of
Yes.
that. So that's why they do it whenever there's a new release like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never paid attention.
Yeah. Whereas I think Kingdom Hearts, the PS4 disc, it might be based upon your region, like or like what your language settings are in your
Mhm.
PlayStation, and then it just switches to that. I think I could be wrong, but I know like I've heard the Japanese, I've heard the English, so I would assume that there is some way for people to switch to both because I would assume that the disc they would have some sort of English way of doing it over in Japan,
Mhm.
but who knows? But yeah, I really like the first one. I like how grounded it is. I like how simple and clean it is. No pun intended. I really
I was
like.
about to say.
Yeah. Um. I really like. Just bamboozling the game and like knowing the ways, the ins and outs of doing things. I still haven't gone back to my stream where I have been doing the 0 EXP runs for Kingdom Hearts, the original, or I guess the final mix version for PC. And the furthest I got 0 EXP, still level 1, was to the Maleficent Dragon, and then I just kept getting hit
I
by a brick
remember
wall,
that.
and then I stopped. Um,
When was that?
Probably a year and a half ago. I'm gonna be
Was it
honest.
that long ago? Because I
I
remember
mean, I feel like
watching those.
yeah, I feel like it's been a bit.
Yeah, because like I would always like go to a certain place and then just get stuck. Like the
Mhm.
Oogie Boogie thing, like where there's all those like orbs around him. I had to figure out like, all right, it's like 14 hits, and that's when the thing explodes. But if I attack like over half of the orbs, then there's going to be these two gargoyle heartless that come, and then they'll just keep respawning themselves. So I had to like make sure to defeat the orbs that were in the hardest places to reach first. And I had to like do all this big brain calculation things in order to defeat that, and then just always be disappointed that I'd be losing. So I bet I could do it at some point. I'm sure I can. It's just a matter of actually doing it again. But yeah, because of just how easy this game is. Like Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, like all the other ones, Birth by Sleep for the longest time was probably my favorite. I really like 358's story a ton. I love Roxas.
Mhm.
Roxas is my favorite character. Um, but for the longest time, I would say Birth by Sleep is my favorite. After revisiting it, I still think it's very good. But yeah, 1 and 2 are definitely up there for me. 2 had just a lot of cooler um, fight choreography, designs, the drive modes, and all of that. But
Mhm.
um, I I don't know. I think it's fun, but after a certain amount of time, it's just like, hey, I'm playing Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. I'm just hitting X continuously. Whereas the first Kingdom Hearts is very much, hey, this is an RPG. You're gonna have to actually like dodge roll and guard and like choose your attacks wisely. You can't just spam X a ton as Sora in
Right.
the first game. So I
Mhm.
think that's why I like it more than the others. But yeah, like 3 is excellent. I love 3 as well, and people hate 3 because they didn't play the
I hear
others.
so many different answers for 3, so it's like I just gotta play it myself and see
Yeah.
what I think about it. But
Honestly, people hate 3 because they didn't play any other games. Like that is the reason. Um and they're nostalgic for one. They're nostalgic for 2, and so they're like, "This isn't 2." It's like, yeah, you're right, it's not. And they're like, "Why is this confusing story?" It's not actually that confusing if you really paid attention. Like, there are stupid things, yes, but everything is connected, so like you
mhm.
can actually figure it out for yourself. Um, but yeah, I need to write that down here. So yeah, Kingdom Hearts is my number 5 here. Again, these could probably change at any time of the day, any of the week. Um, but yeah, that is my number 5. So, Michaela, what is your number 4?
Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive
Bleh,
Edition.
bleh, bad game.
I know. I hear so many people as soon as they start 2, they're like, "I don't like Xenoblade 1 anymore." And I'm just like, "I don't know. That's the one that got you into the series, right? Was 1?"
Yeah, it is. I mean, I played it on Wii. I got about halfway through it on Wii.
Well, the Wii one's bad.
Yeah, and I hated it. And then I finally got back to the Switch one because I heard really good things about 2, and I heard really good things about 3. So I was like, you know what? Fine. I'm actually
Mhm.
going to go in and try to play this. And I still don't like the combat, but after a certain point, the story just ramps up and it's amazing. It's
Yes.
about halfway through. It's like pretty much where I quit originally. And I
Mhm.
kind of regret not just going a little bit further, even back in the Wii days, because then I probably would have loved it. But yeah, it's just I hate that combat. But sorry, continue.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. Because when I first played Xenoblade, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like the weirdest battle system ever. I don't like it. I like slash and hack kind of
Mhm.
games." So that one was it felt very confining. I did not like it. Um, and then I took a long break from it. I think I got about halfway through, and I was like, "Okay, I like this game, but I just got easily distracted with everything else coming out. And then I took, I think, like a 4-month break from Xenoblade 1. And I continued on with the story. And the story just got like really freaking good all of a sudden. It had that dry patch halfway
Hmm.
through. And I was like, man, I regret not playing this game sooner. It's
Yep.
really good. But yeah, I agree. I did not like that battle system at first. I actually enjoy it now. Like, I actually want to go ahead and replay Xenoblade 1 because I did not know what I was doing the first time. It's very confusing. The battle system's weird. The gem thing really threw me off because they don't explain that
I hate it.
unless you go talk to that gem guy
Yeah.
and he kind of explains it, but not really. Um, I didn't do any of the bells and whistles with that game, I think, until like the last 2 weeks I played it. And
Hmm.
that's when I played it correctly. But that game is really confusing at first, but the story is so freaking good. The end of it, I won't say it, I won't spoil it. It blew my mind. It was not the direction I think it was going in.
Yeah.
Um,
It gave me Evangelion vibes, honestly.
yes, I think
And
when
it
we
was
finished
right
it, we actually
after.
said that.
Yeah, because like right after I finished it, like a week before I finished the end of Evangelion, like the first movie,
Mhm.
and I was like, wow, this is very similar. Like
Yeah.
very, very similar. Like just the themes and just fate of worlds and I don't know,
Mhm.
just all that weird stuff. But yeah, no, like the story is excellent. And you just have to get past the gate there of that is the combat. But if you're liking the combat now and you kind of understand it, I believe that like Final Fantasy 12 is very similar, and that's what people really
Oh,
compare it
okay.
to. Because Final
Oh.
Fantasy 2 or Final Fantasy 12 has like the auto type thing. Um,
Oh, okay, I
but
didn't know that.
also like Xenoblade Chronicles, if this was just online, it'd be an MMO because it's very
Mhm.
much like MMO esque, and like I think also playing 14 for a while helped me out with this game because I understood like, all right, I need to prepare, I need to like do certain spells here and then this and just go through my line of commands. um
Yeah.
because yeah, it's very much lined up like an MMO game, but it's not an MMO game.
And I totally see that, and it's very quest heavy. It gives me
Very,
Final
very
Fantasy
quest heavy.
14 vibes with that as well.
Yes, so is
I
2.
didn't do any of the quests. I did maybe 20 for that whole
Yeah.
game.
So yeah, 2 has a ton of quests, and apparently that's the one thing that people complain about a lot. People like to complain about 2 a lot too. Some people don't like the combat, but
I
I
hear a
really
lot
like it.
about the combat for 2, and I'm like, I haven't really paid attention to 2. I've seen people stream
Yeah.
it, but I never paid attention to the combat, so I don't know how different it is from 1,
V- um
but
Kinda. It's different in the sense of you don't have the bar anymore. You have skills stuck to like certain buttons, like the 4 buttons, like like the
oh,
Y and whatever. You just have to like hold like a shoulder button in order to access those skills, and they have their own
oh, okay,
cooldowns and stuff like that too. um but your characters
interesting.
just run around better. You have to be closer to like your partner character, because
Mhm.
otherwise you don't get enough power from that. But then there's also gotcha mechanics in it, in order to
Oh.
get different blades is what they're called, I guess. Like your different type of weapons are also like very, very light spoilers. Like um they're also like your familiar essentially. So like
Oh,
they'll
okay.
they'll be like a person with you, but it's also actually your weapon. So like they're
So,
giving
like,
you the
Soul
power.
Eater?
Yeah. Like Soul Eater,
Like that kinda.
except like the weapon is here, but the person's still there too. Like they can
Oh, okay, they don't
coexist,
actually turn into
but they
okay, they can
are
be
the
in both
weapon.
places.
Yeah. So
Oh,
like that's what
okay.
like Pyra is, like that type of thing. Like you have like the
Yes,
Pyra thing, but then also Pyra's standing beside you.
she's there.
Yeah, so you have to have her
Okay.
with you. But like you get these types of like gems and stuff, and you can use them to roll for different types of weapons, blades. And so you either get like these generic like robot face people, or you get an
Mhm.
actual character who like has a different artist for each of them, like most gotcha games. and has a different like voice
Oh,
actor. So like they all look kind of different, and it's really really
yeah.
cool to just like roll every once in a while and just be like, oh cool, I got this person. And then
Oh,
whenever,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
and when I don't get like a face character, I throw away all the other ones. I just send them all back because I'm like, I don't need you guys. I'm gonna only focus on the faced one anyway. But yeah, no, Xenoblade 2 is definitely great. It's just a lot bigger and brighter, and like that game is definitely a Switch game first. So I think it looks better too, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it looks really good. I like how it's like kind of more like anime style as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. And
Um,
that's another game that I'm playing in Japanese. I forget like
oh,
you.
you are.
Yeah, so there is the problem. Same thing with Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one, because you started with Japanese and then you switched to English, right?
And yeah, and I actually really like the English. Don't get me wrong, it was great in Japanese, but Shulk's voice actor in English, especially when he gets like, I won't say spoilers, but where he gets like hurt and
Yeah.
he's like screaming,
Hmm.
probably one of the best English voice actors I've heard actually do that, because Japanese voice actors always do like those big moments
Hmm.
so well. Like they put so much emotion into it. But I forgot Shulk's voice actor's name in English, but
Yeah.
he delivers. He really does. Like I was really convinced with the acting in it in English, and I'm usually really picky and don't like English voice acting, but
Yeah.
it was really good for that one.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was. For like my first time, I played it in English and I thought it was fine, but like my second time, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play in Japanese because I enjoy games more in Japanese anyway.
Mhm. I do.
Um, so that's why I played the original through Japanese. And I really enjoyed it a lot. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, if you want to play in Japanese, you have to download a DLC in order to play Japanese.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it wasn't on the cartridge originally.
Oh, how weird.
Yeah, so
I didn't know
it
that.
is weird, but then also you get the issues with the names. So like Pyra in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is actually what's her name? Geez, now I don't remember her name.
Oh, they have different
They have
names
different
versus
names.
Japanese.
Yeah. Hmm.
Why?
Because of localization stuff.
Weird.
What's her name? Who's the girl from Madoka? Not Madoka, but the other one. Have you watched Madoka?
Oh,
It's that's the name. Uh, now I can't think of it. But
I
anyway,
can't think of it either.
um,
I don't like it when they do that. They do the same thing in some animes where, like,
Homura,
if it's a
Homura, her is her name.
oh, there
Because
you
I think
go. I don't like when
Homura,
they do
yeah.
that.
So Pyra is actually Homura, and then like Mithra is Hikari. So
Okay.
like fire and light is like essentially like
Yeah.
what they're supposed to be. But then like in Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, it was Charla was actually Karna.
Yeah, that confused me because I kept going back and forth calling her that because I did play it in both languages,
Yeah,
and we would switch back and forth on her name. I was like,
yeah,
I don't know. They're both correct.
yeah. That's a thing that kind of annoys me. Like if you're gonna give me the option of doing, I've complained about it multiple times, but like if you're gonna give me the option of doing Japanese audio, why can't there be a search like find and replace for names and be like, all right, you're playing Japanese audio, cool, just replace the names with the Japanese names. So
Hmm.
then it's completely fine. I don't care if I still have the dub titles, lack of better term, like where like it's still the words that they're saying in the dub, but like
Yeah.
I just want that, I don't know, I want everything to be straight and in a line and just be like Homura is Homura,
Hmm.
and it's not Pyro or whatever. But anyway, I kind of derailed that. But Xenoblade
No, you're
Chronicles
fine.
is an excellent story. Game maybe, um, but yeah, no, it's fun time. Ben,
Just for the record, the first time I played that game was on Wii U.
oh yeah,
Yeah, and I only played 20 minutes into it.
It's
But
really bad on the definitive is so different. It's so bad
it's
on the
also it's
original.
crazy. It's on 3DS. It's on new 3DS. How's that
that's
game run?
crazy.
It is?
It came out before the definitive edition. is actually a new 3DS game, I believe.
That's crazy.
Is it only digital or was there a
No, it was
physical
physical.
copy?
I used to work at a GameStop where they had it, but it was for the new 3DS. You know, like the one with like the little
Yeah.
nub and stuff.
Re- I'm gonna have to add that to my collection.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure it was like one of the two games that actually required a new 3DS because otherwise it would say like, nope, I don't work.
Yeah.
Um, Hyrule Warriors also isn't really a new 3DS game, but because of like the extra RAM or something, it runs a ton better on there compared to running on like a old 3DS. But
Hmm.
but yeah, no, yeah, it's crazy that game can fit on there. I don't know.
I did not know that. Huh.
Hmm. But Ben, sorry, what
No, no, you're fine. Well, so my number 4 is Final Fantasy X, which is no shock to Alex.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, of
Um,
course.
that was like my legitimately first role playing game, and the only reason I got it is because yet again I was still working at Blockbuster, and I saw it, and I was like, the back of the back of the display was like really cool. So I'm like, I kind of want this now, which turned into me buying the game and then buying the strategy guide and just playing so many hours.
Hmm.
I think I played that game all the way through twice. Um, and so, and if you look at it, that's a game now that has been so it was on PlayStation 2 originally. It was on PlayStation 3 with 10 and 10.2 as a HD remastered. It was on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And then it's on Switch. So it has definitely been there and
Hmm.
it's gone through the things. I like it. It is definitely old school, turn based
Yep.
there. But reason I like it so much was the story. It had an amazing story. It was cool because just seeing the stories and learning about the characters and then learning like everything about what's going on and all this. And I know there's like it's been out forever, but I still won't spoil for anybody. It definitely had its moments of like, I didn't see that coming, which was even better. This is like the first game, no joke, that I played, and my girlfriend at the time never played video games, and so it was at my apartment, and she was coming over to do something, and she was doing laundry, I think, and then so I come home from work, and she's like still playing it. She goes, I played for like 7 hours. Please take this away from me. But I just love it. I have it on my PC here. Um, I think that's been the one I love playing it on. Eventually, I will get it for Switch. I don't have it on for Switch, which is kind of crazy.
Yep.
That should have been the one you added instead of GTA. But I think it's definitely well worth that fourth spot there.
I have it on the Switch, but that was actually my first Final Fantasy game that I ever
Oh,
played. I got it on the Switch like years ago, or during the pandemic, I think it was. And I started that, but it was very intimidating for me as a first time Final Fantasy player because that grid system still scares me. I gotta figure it out. And like as a first time player, I was like, what does materia do? What is this grid system? What is this? Like I was so confused. So I still need to go back to that game and finish it.
it's crazy. The grid system to me was just that. So when I first started playing, never playing a role playing game, I'm like, oh my gosh, because you can expand it to see how big it is,
Yeah.
and it definitely throws you for a loop. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. But once you understand it and you learn it, it's really not bad. But the other thing that comes into mind with that as well is being strategic on that. So like
Mhm.
knowing as you progress and you get more, learning certain skills or spells or something like that are definitely necessity moving into like later in the game. And so that's always important as well. Um, so yeah, I think once you learn that grid system, I mean, it's really fun at that point because now you could zoom out and say, okay, so here's Waka's ones, and here's ones I can earn at some point.
Mhm.
So that's really cool. But yeah, I think once you learn that, it's so much fun.
Now, one of these days I'll get back into it. It's probably gonna be my off-stream game because that game is long, and I know you have to grind a lot.
Yes.
Everybody I've seen play that game, they always get like stuck towards the end, and they just gotta do some constant grinding. So I was like, I think that's gotta be a me time game where I can just focus on it.
Yeah, it definitely is because you want to take your time because you are going to get to points where it seems like everything's going really smoothly and in tradition of that
Yep.
type of game. Then you're like, you get to a boss, and you're like, what the crap just happened?
Yep.
You get smoked, and you're like, this is not. I won't say the instance, but there's one specifically. I remember at one point I was thinking I was ready to go for this battle. I was so bad that I ended up spending 6 hours just grinding to be able to beat this
Oh
character.
my gosh.
Yeah. And I thought I
See,
was like ready to go. Now, of course, after that, I was like overkill level. But yeah, like definitely I tell Alex all the time to stream it, even though it's not the best one to stream
No.
because it is so much. And then the trials themselves can be very
yeah,
difficult.
that I keep hearing people struggle with that. I keep seeing people, yeah, we're gonna do trials today, and then they like have to do like 4 or 5 streams for just trials. I'm like, yeah, I don't know how people stream that game, honestly.
I mean, a lot of them I've had to look up because they're so difficult. And it's like once you figure it out, you're like, I never would have guessed that on my own. There's no logical thing behind it.
hmm
But that's how you get the summons. So you kind of have to do it.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. So, um, and then there's the random, they have like bonus summons you can get. Uh, so it's definitely a fun game. It's funny looking at summons now and like some of the, like, especially the new one with with the summons and stuff. I'm like, that intro is always really cool for the other games, for 10 especially. But looking where they're at now, yeah. So yeah, don't don't stream that game. You will be extremely frustrated with
Yeah,
it.
I've been avoiding it. That's actually one of the first games when I first started streaming.
Yep.
I think I was like 2 or 3 months into streaming, and I played 10. And I was like, I don't think I could do this one.
Yeah.
Never went back.
Yeah, that's a game that I kind of wish that they would remake. Um,
Me too.
because there's a lot of like like Ben, like how you're talking about, like there's a lot of good story elements and stuff to that game. Um, but when I tried to replay that game, when I got it on like PS4, I got like the 10 collection for PS4 like on Black Friday. Um, I was really upset that some of the cutscene things, especially in the beginning, were just cutscenes. And in my mind, if it was a PS3 game at the time or even a PS4 game, I would be doing stuff during that cutscene. Like I would rather have like a QTE, like a QuickTime events thing happening. I'd rather like, oh, a fish is coming to get me. I better hit X. Like make it more engaging.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Instead of me just like watching this cutscene of Titus trying to swim, and eventually getting on board with Riku and all them. But like,
Mhm.
um, yeah, there's just a lot of waiting, and I didn't like that. And the story is good. It's just the story is very long and bloated in certain
Yeah.
points.
Yeah. And
Um,
I
yeah,
think, with the success of 7, that could be something. If you look at Capcom, they've been remastering. I saw the side by side for Resident Evil 4 that I played on the Wii versus to like now.
Oh my
It
god, it's so much better.
it is like I didn't think it was creepy on that console, but like looking at it, I'm like, man, this is dark. It's creepy. Um, I mean, it's not the same game at all.
yeah,
And
Mm-mm.
so, and I think with the success of Final Fantasy 7, they know that this is there, but you're asking Square to get something done in a timely manner that won't.
Yeah, and 10 is such a large game. It would take
It
them
is.
forever to remake it.
I think it'd be cool, but yeah, because then that opens the door of like, okay, so redo Kingdom Hearts, redo,
don't you dare,
all these. Yeah,
don't do it,
yeah.
don't do it.
I Who knows, but I think this is one of those ones where it's definitely a hidden gem, and it's definitely. I think the best part is it has been on other consoles, which
Mhm.
makes it easier for other people that have maybe never played it to kind of experience it.
Especially since it moved to the Switch. It's like when they did the Crisis Core. I can't believe Crisis Core went to the Switch. I
Well,
was
'cause it was on
so
PSP,
surprised.
so
Yeah.
I know, but I didn't think it was gonna go to Nintendo. I was just like, that is so different. But then everybody got to experience it and everybody got to cry over it, and I
yeah,
understand why
I
the
love
story was so freaking good.
I love Crisis Core so much.
I
It's
can't
so
play it again. It's oh my gosh. Like
man,
every time I see that ending when somebody else plays it, I am like full on depressed for like the next 24
man,
hours.
I was
Like
playing okay, so mild spoilers, but mild not spoilers. Everyone, you know what happens to Zach if you ever played Final Fantasy VII. So there's that. There's a big battle at the end that you're supposed to lose. I won't say specifically what it is, but it'll make you lose. And I was really good. And I kept fighting and I
I
was
did
not
too.
dying. And the game finally was like, you're too good. And it just started fading to black.
Yes,
And then
I did the same thing.
it was like, you're dead. It's like, oh, okay. I was
Well,
shocked.
I was curious too, since it was, they redid it. I was like, maybe there's a light of hope. Maybe they're gonna slightly change the
I thought
story.
so,
Like,
but then
because
they
I
told
was
us they
still
weren't.
going. Yeah, I was still going. I was like, no, they would have made this a lot shorter if that was gonna happen. So like I had some hope for a second, and nope.
I
Saw
mean,
the rain, and I was
I
like,
mean,
yep.
Square is definitely not like other companies because when Mass Effect 3 came out, I don't know if you guys remember, people were so mad at the ending that they
Mhm.
Yep.
redid the ending.
Yeah,
Yep.
DLC.
Yeah, which is crazy in my mind. Like just for the fact to do such a huge budget game and be like, "Oh, sorry, you don't like the ending? Here we go. We're gonna fix it."
Yep.
You know, um, Final Fantasy X, I will tell you, has a very, without spoiling it, it does have like a crazy ending to it that you kind of are thinking about, but
Hmm.
Mhm.
not really. So yeah, definitely there. But yeah, it's so funny you talk about that being on the Switch and running on the Switch. So tangent, by the way. So I bought the Hogwarts game for PS5,
Hmm.
and my wife is huge into like that world. And I said, "Do you want me to show you how to play it?" Because she doesn't play games. She goes, "No, I'll just play it on the Switch." It's like, "Why would you do that?" And she goes, "What's coming to the Switch?" I'm like, "It's gonna look awful."
Maybe
Yeah.
someday it'll come to the Switch because it keeps getting delayed.
Yeah, it's probably not to the next Switch.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Wow, we're still trucking along here. It's already over an hour and we're only at number 4. um that's okay. I expected this. If
You
we
brought me on here where I can talk a lot,
you can
so
talk for the whole 8 hours of your stream. You're not even going to touch Tales of Symphonia. You're just going to talk.
my
Uh
god.
so anyway, if we do have to take a break or anything, if we need to, we can definitely pause and whatever.
Okay.
But for the time being, here, my number 4, I guess it's number 4 because I have other things that have moved up on the chain of command of my lists in the recent years. Um, so a game has moved down for me only because it is not available really for anyone. That is Mother 3. I love
I
Mother
Oh.
3.
called that.
I love Mother 3 so much. This is my Mother 3 copy that my friend got me at a convention like years ago. It's good condition according to it. It was $75. Um but it is complete in box. It's in here. There's all the little inserts and all that stuff in here. And I love this game a lot. I am not the biggest Earthbound fan, but you really have to have played Earthbound um in order to enjoy this game. Because it references Earthbound a lot. It is technically a
Oh, okay.
chronological based game. Um but the beginning is so good. Um like it's very, I guess it's very emotional. I don't know if anyone else finds it as emotional as I do, but there's a scene where like a guy, like one of the main characters, at least in the beginning, like finds out that like his wife has died, and then he just freaks
Oh.
out and he grabs like a piece of firewood and just starts like looking all like, like the hat's down. He's all depressed, and he just starts swinging this burning wood at all the other townsfolk because he's so upset. And then they throw him in jail, and it's the first time they've ever had to throw anyone in jail before, like in their
Oh,
little town, because they're like,
yeah.
hey, you're being a little too much right now, because like his wife like was killed.
Mhm.
But like that scene is very, very emotional, and for a Game Boy Advance game, it's shocking like how powerful it can be just for that. But I like Mother 3 because you can play it in short bursts. Because it is a Game Boy Advance game, there are a ton of save points. There's the save frogs. I don't know if you've seen like the frog in a car thing before.
Oh, yeah.
Gerard the completionist, like his significant other, wife, I don't know, like she made like a plush version of that. So like you can buy like a car and frog in a car plush. I really would like that someday.
How
Um,
cute.
but yeah, it's just has a bunch of save points. It has really good characters. It has Lucas in it, so like um Lucas from Smash Brothers, according to our stuff, because he's not in anything else over here. Um that's the first introduction of Lucas for me, was Brawl. And then eventually I found out like, hey, Mother 3 is a thing, and I was able to play it through emulation. That's the only real way you can do it. There is an
Oh, okay.
official fan translation online, or not official, but there is like a big fan translation online made by actual like translators, like people who have translated games before.
Oh.
So it is very good, and they have thrown it to Nintendo. Even they're like, hey, you should take this and you should do with it what you want. And Nintendo, like if something remotely happens to one of their IP and they don't like it, they'll take it down. They have not taken
Mhm.
down Mother 3 stuff at all. And that means that they don't care about Mother 3 for here. So we're never going to see Mother 3 here. um and it's sad. So I broke down. I bought a Japanese copy to be like, hey, I have it. But then the only way I can really play it is either learning Japanese, which I'm trying, or playing the fan translation through an emulator. And
Mhm.
it's kind of hard to do that because there are timed those things I talked about earlier, the time button presses thing, for
Yeah.
attacks, and in Mother 3 especially, every enemy has like a specific like beat to them, like a certain rhythm, their heartbeat. Like you can use like a sleeping spell on them, and you'll hear the beat, and
Oh.
it'll be like the beat of the music like in the background. So if you like hit the attack button and like hit the button to the beat, you can like keep chaining the attack until a certain point, and it'll say like congratulations, and then like you do more damage. um so there's really cool mechanics like that. Really good characters again, like yeah, Flint, Duster, Kumatora, the dog Boney. There's, yeah, again, Lucas, Klaus. um it's it's a very emotional game. It's a very good game, and because you can play it on the go, or you should be able to play on the go, Nintendo, please. Um, it's very easy to pick up and play, and then just drop off and then go back to it. Um,
Mhm.
there are some problems with it. There are issues with like level scaling, I would say. Um, there's sometimes where it feels like I'm too under level for a boss, even though I have fought everything in my way. So I do have to grind a bit depending on what the boss
Okay.
is. But the combat's so much fun that I don't care that I'm grinding necessarily. I will save all the time. I'll try to go to like a hot spring is essentially an inn. It's like a free inn, like where you'll stay in there enough, and then you will gain your health back and then walk back, and just kind of go back and forth between the fighting and the grinding and all that. But bosses are great. The ending's great. The ties to um, Earthbound, Mother 2 are great. I played a bit of Mother, like Earthbound Beginnings. I played maybe a little, almost half of it, but I couldn't
Mhm.
get past the encounter rates. The encounters were just so much, and there's a certain point in that game too where I just couldn't get any further. And so I kind of just gave up on it. Not gonna
Oh,
lie.
that stinks.
The Game Boy Advance version, I have it. The Mother 1+2. It's Japanese only. But they kind of like remade it a little bit, and it has better mechanics and better encounter rates and stuff. So maybe if I learn Japanese at some point, I can play that. But yeah, the one on Nintendo Switch Online, it's fine. You can see why Earthbound, like where it came from, where all these games came from, but
Hmm.
it's just way too like unforgiving. So I don't really recommend people play it. But Earthbound, I recommend people play, and I recommend them play Mother 3, and then they'll just see that Mother 3 is the superior game, honestly. In my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion too. But yeah, it's a great game.
Those are games that are still on my backlog. I still need to play them.
Yeah, like I said though, like Earthbound you can definitely play pretty much anywhere.
Hmm.
Mother 3 you're going to have harder time of dealing with that, and technically with Twitch and stuff you're not really supposed to stream games that are emulated, but people don't care.
They don't know that.
They'll know with Mother 3. They'll be like, "How are you playing an English version of Mother 3?"
Do you know how many times I watch like people on stream and they're like, they're not using like an EverDrive or anything like that. They just bring up their screen for like their emulation,
Oh
and I'm
yeah,
like,
like Visual Boy Advance, like you just see like
yeah,
the name
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
yeah. I'm pretty sure they're like,
Yeah, I mean, especially for that game, like that's the only way to play it, like for our audience here. So I don't blame people. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, no, excellent games all around. Michaela, what is your number 3?
Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is my number 3. I really didn't think that game was gonna make it my top 5 because what year did that game come out? 95? It was
94, I
1995,
think.
somewhere around there. Okay,
94.
I'm
Hang on.
like, I can't believe I waited this long to play it, but that one is in my top 3. That one really blew me away for how old that game is. It was such ahead of its time.
I
So,
remember, I remember, a friend used to get Nintendo Powers, and that was
oh,
in
I
there,
love those.
and
I like Chrono
I was like, okay, so these characters are super cool, but then I played it, and it does take a little getting used to, and
Yeah,
I was like, I just can't. But I would love to go back and replay that though.
I already want to replay it. I just finished it like a month ago. I already want to replay it. It was the only game. This is why I made it my top 3. It was the only game I've ever gotten so frustrated over. I legit cried over it, and I had to stop for the final boss, and I had to go back to it. I've never had a game make me like self-doubt myself so badly before, and then it finally felt good like beating the game.
Yeah.
But I was like, if that game actually made me cry with how the mechanics were of the final boss, it deserves to go in my top
Did you
3.
do what I did, or did you not do that? So what I did to grind, but then also um maybe get more items or more story, is that you can start in the future and then go to the flying palace. I forget what it's called. You can
Yeah.
go there and then just go one more back, and then it's still there since you defeated in the future. So you can fight that whole thing like 4 times.
Yes.
So that's what I ended up doing, so I could just like fight those bosses again, get more EXP, but then also just be ready for the final boss, and the final
I
boss
did
still
not do
kicked
that.
me.
Nobody gave me advice on that. I went straight for the boss. I did not have any of the items. So I took it on with kind of nothing. That's why I got beat up so badly. And then when I went back through it, there was this item we got. It was a gold item. I forgot what it was called. It wasn't the earring. It was something else. I'm
Mhm.
trying to remember what the heck it was. Um, but I can't even remember what the item did. I think it made it to where when I used it on Marley, she never ran out of magic.
Yeah, so
Like, so
there's
I
a
could just keep
certain
healing.
earring. So I played the Super Nintendo version, which has a lot of broken stuff in it, honestly. Um I gave who did I have as my main characters? I had the 3 main. I had Marley, I had Chrono, and then I had not Bulma, whatever her name is. Ah, man, you know I'm talking. What's is that her? Wait, who? She looks like
Purple
Bulma.
hair.
Yeah, she looks like Bulma from, but she's in Chrono
Yeah,
Trigger.
so she's like the techie one, kind of like how Bulma is with her dad's company.
Luca, yeah.
Yeah, Luca, the
Yeah.
fight with the fire powers
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
well.
So those were the three that I always had. I never like I had Frog for a bit and I got rid of Frog. I had other people for a bit and I got rid of them. And I really figured out like I like these three the most. Marley I gave an earring to like early game. And that made it so everything was it costs like nothing essentially for
Yeah, for the MP.
yeah, MP was like 1 for every spell. Like
Yeah, because
it was
the
great.
earring was the first step, and there's one after it. You like had to really dig for that item. It was
Yeah,
like in this random. I couldn't even tell you where it's at because like
yeah,
my mod was guiding me the whole time.
yeah. Depending on what
But
it was, like there's a lot of different ones in here. So
yeah, but that game deserves my top 3 spot. It's so good. I almost want to put it as number 1, but I think I gotta replay it one more time where
mhm.
I didn't struggle so badly because going back and forth with like the different time frames, I could not do that without somebody helping me. That part was very confusing. Like I would have gotten lost.
Yeah,
But I do love that game. It was just the music's good, characters are good. Frog is one of my all-time favorite characters now from a game series. Um I love the graphics for it. Oh my gosh. I could go on and on about that game about why it is just one of the best games of all time. It's just so good.
yeah. No, definitely. It's definitely an excellent game. Like after watching you play it, I kind of wanted to
Cuz you
play
got
it
back
again.
into it cuz you stopped.
I stopped and then I got into it because you were playing it, and I was like, I'm gonna finish this game, and I beat it. Um, and that was like when you were like early playing it. I want to say like I beat it like right like you announced that you're gonna stream it, I guess. So I beat it like right before you started streaming it, I
Yeah,
did.
and then I took a 4-month break from it, which was a
Yeah.
terrible idea. I should have started over, but we made it. I kind of remembered stuff, but um my mod has played that game probably 100 times. It's his all-time favorite game. So I had somebody to like really help me with it, which I really needed.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, I can't wait to play it again. I'm already obsessed. That's why I bought the DS copy. I
Yeah.
want to
So
play it on there. So
I bought the DS. I've had the DS copy. I got it for like $30 like a few years ago, which
oh
is
dang.
yeah. Because I end up buying games and then they're worth a lot later on. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Um, but I tried to actually go back to it after you beat it on the DS,
Mhm.
but like the the resolution on a DS is just so awful. My eyes are like, what is this? Because I'm so used to Switch OLED in my face.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
afraid of. I
And
haven't
like
gone back to my DS.
I couldn't play my DS there for a while. I was just like, my eyes, what is this? It's so pixelated and blurry at the same time. It's
Oh no. I don't
yeah.
know if I can go back to the DS now because yeah, the Switch OLED is great. I can't even play the first gen Switch now because I'm just like, gosh, the color's very muted down. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm curious now if I can actually play my DS. But I have the 3DS XL, so it might be okay.
Yeah,
But
I have the new 3DS XL, so like the last type of DS, and like yeah, I was still like this
oh, okay, that's what I have too.
yeah,
So
because I have the
okay.
Majora's Mask gold one or whatever.
Oh, I like that
Yeah,
one.
but yeah, no, Chrono Trigger, excellent game. That was a game that it's like Skyrim to me, except I actually hate Skyrim. It was another joking game for the longest time where I'm like, I hate this game. Um, because I was a dumb kid when I used to play it and I just couldn't understand the combat as a kid.
That
Just
makes
because
sense.
the active bar, how things just appear on the screen to you and they each have their own little thing. Like, I don't know. It was just harder to understand combat at that time. Um, but going back to it and like actually finding a copy of the game, that's what made me play it.
Mhm.
So I wanted to play it on the Super Nintendo, so that's why I got a Super Nintendo cartridge. Yeah, the one I have here is real. It's missing the sticker on the back, but I did open
Oh,
it
okay.
up and it is real.
Hmm.
But also Chrono Trigger, along with some other games, I think Goof Troop is another one. They're made in Mexico, and so they have
Oh,
their worst quality stickers, worst quality cartridges in general. So that's why, like, whenever you see a Chrono Trigger, the sticker has a lot of wear on it. It's because they were only released like made in Mexico versions here in America.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so like there's a website, I forget what it is. It's like SNES PCB or something like that.
I've heard
Um
about that.
yeah, I probably told you about it honestly. But
I
like
think you did.
I use it to look at different types of Super Nintendo games and things, because people do like high res scans of the boards, because every game also has a different board. So if they have records of um different boards in there, then you can see like, oh, is my game real? Let's check, and that's where I go.
Oh, that's
I open up my
nifty.
cartridge, and then I look at it. And I'm like, oh, does it look like this one, or does it look like this one, or does it look like this one? And depending on what it is, or maybe sometimes you see a different one, like you have a different one, or like they have scans of like the boxes and stuff as well on there. So you know like what type of game you should have. So like there's like a code on each of these Super Nintendo games over here, and depending on what that says, you um, your board should look one way or the other. So, but yeah, no, Chrono Trigger, excellent, excellent game. I love it now. I bought Chrono Cross on
I need to play
P-
that next.
yeah, I bought it on the PlayStation Store when it came out, and I never touched it. Good thing I didn't touch it because it was broken. Now it's better. So there was an
Oh, yeah,
update.
they finally updated
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play that eventually. I've heard there's a ton of characters and stuff in that, so I'm not ready for it, but at the same time, we'll see. I'm expecting okay things. I'm not expecting it to be Chrono Trigger, but
Yeah, that's where I think I'm gonna get disappointed in with Chrono Cross. It's not Chrono Trigger, and they're not like they're so different graphics wise and whatnot.
mhm.
So I'm just like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I hear so many people say Chrono Cross is like one of their all time favorite games.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna see if it's worth it.
Mhm.
But Chrono Trigger, I just talked about this the other day because like I'm playing Symphonia right now and stuff like that. Chrono Trigger has ruined a lot of games for me. A
Yep.
lot.
Yep.
And it stinks. So
Yeah,
it's
Final
like, dang
Fantasy
it.
6 has ruined a lot of games for me too. Tales of the Abyss and
I
Final
hear
Fantasy
about that.
6 are
Yep.
the same game. It's just one's
Yep.
better than the other. I like both of them, but one's clearly better than the other.
Yeah, I hear that about 6 too. I'm just like, man, maybe I should have waited 10 more years and played Chrono Trigger so I stopped comparing it to everything,
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Uh Ben, what's
Um,
your number 3?
okay, so this is where we start to get a little more modern. So it's Dragon Quest 11.
oh, I want to play that so badly.
I I have not played a full Dragon Quest game in a while, and when I got this, I was like, oh, okay, so it's your typical Dragon Quest game, but for
Hmm.
some reason, the story and the gameplay was like fantastic. Um, I love this game so much. Dragon Quest games are normally usually pretty hard,
Hmm.
but I feel like this one is like a good level for me. And the good thing is there's plenty of save parts, so I can play for like an hour and then stop, you know,
Oh,
and
nice.
then go. They have just a lot of different things there. It's cool seeing the every character and everything is obviously drawn by the creator of Dragon Ball, and
Hmm.
so that's really awesome. Even when they do like they have this thing where it's called a psych up. When they get to a certain level, it's like a they can do like combo moves and they can do a bunch of stuff. They literally look like Dragon Ball Z characters powering up. Their hair stands up. I mean, it literally is like just that. But the reason I liked it so much is I like the story. I like the characters. You know, it's just a fun game. That's something, Alex. I just re-downloaded it because it's on PlayStation Plus right now.
Oh, it
Um,
is?
Well, the next version of it, it's like a definitive edition of that.
Oh.
But my game originally was not, so my save file from a couple years back won't count. So I have to start all over.
Oh.
But I'm okay with it. I think there, my son, who's not really big into like the turn-based stuff, really got
Mhm.
into it as well, which is kind of shocking. But the graphics are good, the gameplay is good. Um, this was definitely one that was like there, and I have not. I can't remember the last one I actually played where I actually played through like a good percentage of it. I was probably about 50% done before.
Mhm.
And I'll restart this one. I know they do sell it on Switch as well,
Mhm.
but that's a harder one to kind of find nowadays. So ever since I got an OLED, I've been trying to find more stuff on Switch because I could play it before I go to bed,
Mhm.
and then just hit standby, boom, and then I can pick it up at another time. It's a lot easier, especially
Yeah.
when you have a household with like two PS5s using the same account. Uh, Alex knows my pain. Like a lot of times, like I'll get booted or he's trying to play, and so I try not to. But my Switch OLED um, is perfect, so I'm gonna try and find it on there. I heard it's gotten quite expensive.
I think
Uh,
it's on Amazon still. I don't think it's
Hmm.
outrageously overpriced.
All right.
well,
Yeah.
I'll definitely check that one out. I love the game myself, and I feel like in not a thing to either one of you two, but I think it'd be a good game to stream just because of where it is and kind of how it plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been I keep getting that game requested for my streams. Every week I play, everybody's like, "Are you gonna play Dragon Quest 11?" I'm just like, "I want to, but it'll probably take me like a year to play it."
Yeah, so what I played at Dragon Quest 11, I kind of felt that same way. I played it on Game Pass, but it's not available on Game Pass anymore. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's kind of like I played maybe like 4 hours. I was like, oh, this is pretty fun, and then it disappeared from Game Pass. All right, well, I'm not buying this game. Too
Oh.
bad.
yeah, that sucks.
But I enjoyed it for what it was. This is the first Dragon Quest game, I believe, to actually have monsters out on the open world, so there's no more
Yeah,
random
that's
battles.
awesome.
So there is
Oh.
that. So that is more approachable in that sense, and it seemed kind of linear. So like there might be some open world stuff later on, but from what I played, it seemed fairly linear. So it might be a fine streaming game, and because of how more modern it is, like it might be easier to play. But then
Mhm.
you won't be able to. It's the Chrono Trigger debacle. Then you won't be able to play older Dragon Quest games because then you'll be like,
I
why isn't this in this? Why
know.
isn't that in
Yeah,
that? The S version for Switch originally, and then for other things, is that they had like that 2D mode where like you could be like sprites, like Super Nintendo sprites, and you could just play the game in 2D instead.
Oh.
Like when you talk to like a church or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so there's like two different ways of playing that game. You can play it either as like an old RPG with the random battles and stuff, and it looks like an old RPG, like a SNES NES game. Or you can play like the newer actual version. So like you can, yeah, and you can switch at any point in time, it seems,
yeah,
as long as you go to the chapel or whatever.
it's
Oh.
super. That's super sweet that it's able to do that. Um, I just like really, like I said, I got really engrossed in the story, and then once I got pretty much most of my characters, because it does get challenging. I will tell you, like
Mhm.
once you get all of your characters together, it's still challenging, but it's not as awful because there was times where I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is just awful. I have to be better, strategic. I have to maybe kind of level up a little bit, change out weapons,
Mm-hmm.
change out armor."
Yeah.
Um, but it's cool because like everything looks great. It looks amazing. It's probably one of the better looking games on that system because it came out on PS4 before, but like it's one of the better looking games on there. Um, but I can play it and still today,
Mm-hmm.
which probably after this stream I will probably buy it on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
because I just looked for it on there because for some reason Dragon Quest 11 and Xenoblade 2 are kind of hard to find as physical copies for the Switch.
Yep.
But I'm like, I always see it on Amazon.
I
It might
think
be a little pricier,
so.
but
Here's the
it's
thing,
there.
though: the Amazon thing. Don't get tricked, and that's why I'm not buying the Torna thing on there. I don't know. Maybe I should and just see. This happened to a friend of mine before, and like their brother and stuff. They tried to buy the Kingdom Hearts collection for PS4 on Amazon, and they got a PAL copy. It still plays, but it wasn't
Wait, what is
American,
that?
like a European version.
Oh, because I just bought that off of Amazon a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was that or not. I haven't booted it up.
It would say PAL in the corner instead of like the
Oh,
ESRB
does it? Oh,
logo.
okay. So I'm good then, because it was $30 for the whole collection for the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Yeah.
heck yeah, I'm buying
Yeah.
it for 30. I have it on my PC, but oh my gosh, that port's awful. I hate it.
Yep.
It crashed on me 20 times when I played through 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But I did buy that physical copy on PS4.
Yeah, but that's what happened to him. He got the wrong one. So that's why I'm scared about Torna, like the Xenoblade DLC, because like it's not that much on there, but what if it's a
I think
wrong
that's
copy?
also available at Target, because when I first was looking for it, I thought that was the second game. I didn't know that was the DLC.
Nah, I have to look for it.
So I was like, that's weird, a physical copy for a DLC. But I think Target Online also has it.
Because it's so big. That's the problem.
Yeah,
And
I was weirded out. I thought it was the actual second game.
Yeah, it's a prequel to the game. But because I bought Xenoblade Chronicles 2 used for $60.
Oh, I got it on Amazon, I think, for $60 new.
Yeah, well, because at the time that I bought it, I don't know, depending on when you bought yours, like
a couple months ago.
I bought mine maybe about a month ago, I would want to say.
Oh, okay.
But like,
I think mine was like 2 or 3 months ago.
I saw it at like one of the stores that I normally go to, and it's like, well, I never see this in the wild. I guess I'm buying this.
Yeah, I heard that one's hard to find. So
yeah, because it was a old Switch game, and then they just never reprinted it. So that's the.
I will say Amazon is perfect, because I bought Super Robot Wars.
Oh yeah.
On Switch, and I bought it for like $30.
Ooh, nice.
And now it's going for like $70, $80.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah, and so like it sucks because all the other ones are more expensive, but Amazon is a good for that. Like I have, what is it, Final Fantasy 7 and 8 on Switch that was only released overseas.
Yeah.
And even like the one is like it's the Asian version for Super Robot, but there's English, so you can pick English subtitles for it. So that was pretty sweet. There. One last thing I will say about this one here is, if you're gonna get it, you might as well get that upgraded version. That's the one to get. It's there, and I looked on Amazon while we were talking. It's only like $54. So I don't feel like it's too much. There,
no, that's normal. I mean,
I felt like it was going I felt like it was going more on eBay.
Yeah, it probably I usually buy a lot of games from Amazon. If I see them like lowered a little bit, I just buy it, because the gaming industry for reselling right now is just ridiculous. So it's just like, if I see something on sale, even if I don't think I'm gonna play the game, if it's on sale, I just buy it.
That's why I bought a Metroid Prime remastered. Mine's still sealed. I was like, I don't know if I want this game or not, but I bought it when it came out, and I bought it for whatever the new price was from a Walmart. I was like, I'm just gonna keep this.
I still need to buy that one. I think it went on sale a couple weeks ago for like $40 or something, or $30 at Best Buy.
I think it's normally
Best Buy's
40,
good too.
So, but
I bought my Metroid the same a couple days after. It was funny because like I bought it at a Walmart, and all these other guys that work there were like, "Man, there's only a couple copies left. Are you gonna get yours?" Like to each other. And I didn't think anything. I took mine out of plastic. But like Amazon truly is the best, unless you reserve a game, because I reserved that new Mega Man game, and I must have reserved it at the wrong time, because then they were like, "Oh, June or July, you'll get it."
Yeah,
So
they're awful for pre-orders. I never pre-order from there. I always pre-order at Best Buy. I've never had a problem.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't remember a time where we were having problems with it. I'm sure that's for another podcast. But
oh yeah, we get that.
Which retailer's the best?
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's my next pick. I am going to let these two out.
I was wondering when you were going to do that. I was trying to give you an out, but then you just kept talking.
It was so funny because like I didn't want to interrupt anybody,
Yeah, no.
but
But now you are. Now you're interrupting
yeah,
and causing a big destruction. No, it's fine.
this one here is like, I need to
Oh,
go out.
Yeah.
You want to go out? So please talk amongst yourselves. I
Okay.
shall return momentarily.
All right, we'll talk badly about you. We'll talk poorly.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, I'm the youngest sibling, so I'm used to it. It's
I
okay.
thought you were gonna say you're
oh
the youngest
no.
here, and I was like, that's not
Yeah,
true. That's not
no,
true
because
at all.
when she was talking about Chrono Trigger when it came out, I'm like, holy crap, that's like senior year in high school.
No,
Yeah,
I was born in 94.
I was born in '92.
yeah. Just so you know, when you were born, I was graduating high school. I'm old as
Oh
dirt.
no.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Ben over
All right,
here.
I'm gonna let them out real
All
quick. Hold
right,
up.
Ben already knows what
Okay.
I'm gonna say anyway for one of these. So
Oh.
mine, really quick. Let me just write it down. Everyone knows I am OQ.
Yeah, I knew that one was there. I didn't know where it was gonna be, if it was 2, 3.
There are others. It could go in different places, but hello, here's the hack. They still have price stickers because I couldn't get some of these off. But then it also
Oh,
shows me though how much I spent on it. Because come on, focus.
it doesn't want to tell everybody what the price
I
is.
guess. Hey, there you go. 160. This
Oh.
game is like over 300, especially when I bought it.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I bought it for pretty cheap, according to that. But I also had a coupon, so it wasn't that as well.
Oh,
I
okay.
got these two together for a good price. I think I paid like 120 total for both of these. So which isn't bad.
I was like, that's actually not that bad,
Yeah.
because like a single game now is $120.
Yeah. So Dot Hack PS2 game, PS2 series. There's also other Dot Hack things, whether that is GU, which is the later series, which is on Switch. It's on PS4, like the collection for that. It's more action RPG oriented for that one. It's fine. It's good, I would say. But it's no this. So this game came out. These games came out in like 2003, I want to say, and they
Hmm.
came out like months after each other. I want to say like at least 6 to 8 months after one another.
Okay.
Um, Maybe even less, because essentially what each of these games are, they are like it's an RPG, it's a JRPG, but it's also a fake MMORPG. So
Okay.
you also you have party members, you meet people in dungeons, and like there are certain people who um you can actually become friends with or whatever and invite with you. There's also like a main story happening. This is the original Sword Art Online. So this came out before Sword Art Online. It's very much a oh no, you're trapped in the game type thing, except in the anime that happened to one person. In the games, people are dying from like a powerful super boss and they go into comas for real. So that's what's happening to
Oh.
people. So you're trying to figure out with your new found abilities and help from like the goddess of the game, I guess. Like there's actual like AI hologram type thing in there helping you out who gave you a power to
Oh.
basically shrink enemies down to like level 1 essentially. Um, so with those powers, with finding people and helping people, you pretty much you're just playing an MMO. There, it has a fake computer there, so you can have to like check your email. You can change your wallpaper. You can change the music on your computer. There's also message boards, so you can like look at the message boards every once in a while, and you can see like, oh, someone posted there's supposed to be good loot at the specific dungeon keywords, and then you get the keyword. So then now you can go explore there yourself. There's certain challenges where you can get like super weapons or whatever, like the goblin tag things. Um, and the reason why they release these in a order like this is that they wanted to simulate. It sounds kind of cash grabby, but they wanted to simulate getting expansions for an MMO. So that's why it's like you play this game and the first game's only about 20 hours. Then the next game's about 20 hours, and then the next one's about 20 hours, and so on. So like by the time you're done, you're playing an actual full MMO, or like in a full RPG.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
but all your save files, your save file gets converted at the end if you beat the game, and then you get to continue with all your equipment, abilities, your party members, and all that stuff. So it rewards you for playing through the games all the way through. You can start from scratch. They give you like a base like level and base equipment like for each game. Say like I was missing 3 for some reason, so I went 1, 2, 4. I can still play 4, but my equipment or would be different than actually doing things and going through the games, because there's certain missable stuff if you don't play all the games, because you treat it like it's an actual MMO. So like there are events that you could skip essentially. So there's certain events that aren't happening anymore if you're playing 3 instead of 1. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, these games are very expensive and they've never re-released them. Another problem with it though is that each of them comes with a DVD, and so it comes with something called dot hack liminality, and so it is an OVA, and there's one
Oh.
for each of them, and they're each about like maybe 30 to 40 minutes long. And what's happening in the OVAs is like the real world stuff that's
Hmm.
happening while you're playing the game, but it's with different
Oh, how
characters
cool.
like experiencing what's happening like to the actual world and stuff. um but yeah, it's a really fun series. It's a really fun uh, uh I don't know, multimedia thing. It's just a shame that it kind of just died. I've been collecting a lot of it as of late, so like I have a bunch of the books. I have um almost all the strategy guides. I'm missing the last one for the last game here, and then they made a strategy guide for the first GU game, and they stopped making guides at that time, I guess. um but like that part 4 strategy guide is like $100, I think.
Ugh,
At least.
ouch.
Yeah, but I mean the game's like $300, so I mean it kind of makes sense. Like there probably just aren't enough of those. But yeah, and there's also like a ton of different anime series and stuff like that. So if someone wants to get into this, I would highly recommend there's 2 ways I recommend it. There's the, hey, you should shell out money and try to get these games. I don't support piracy. That's just a me thing personally. If you want to do it, go for it. That's not a me thing though, because these aren't available anywhere. Um, if you're able to find these for a relatively good price and everything, I would say start with the dot hack sign anime, and then play these games first, and then go to like the GU and stuff. For the more fiscally, I don't know, conservative person, I would say go ahead and just play the GU games and see how you feel about it, because like
Hmm.
they are connected to a degree, but it's a different version of the MMO that they play. And there are characters and callbacks to things, but they're not so much in your face that you wouldn't understand things. It just kind of be like, oh, that's cool. Oh, this person's that person. They just changed characters since they're in a new version of the game. Like you just find out certain reveals later, but it's not a big deal if you know or don't know.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so like yeah, so for people who can't find these, I would say yeah, just go ahead and um, do that instead, and just play the GU games and see how you feel about it. Because yeah, it's on Switch digitally. You can get the Switch version physically still, I believe, through Bandai, but you have to get like a limited edition version.
Oh.
PS4, you can get it everywhere. I played the GU games on Switch because I played 1 and 2 when I was younger, but then I can never get 3. Like it was one of those like expensive games, so I just never did it until the collection came out, and I finally broke down and played the rest of them. When I was able to get 3 and 4 here for Dot Hack IMOQ, um, I was like, all right, I'm spending a lot of money, and that's kind of like when the time I kind of started focusing on streaming again. I was like, all right, I spent a lot of money. I need to justify this purchase. I'm going to stream this whole series since no one can really see this anyway because it's like expensive game. So I did. I played through all of those original games, and that was like a stream that I would have like like Saturdays or Sundays for like over a year. Like there are some palette cleansers in between, but overall I was playing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Um, and that was a really fun time. I really appreciate it now that I finally like played through it all because I never
Mhm.
had 3 and 4 as a kid. I really liked the anime series, both of them, and at the time and all that. But yeah, it's just expensive games are expensive, and hopefully Bandai Namco decides to release these in other places. But um, they're probably not going to, and they probably never will because they have Sword Art Online, and this is Sword Art Online. It's better, but people like Sword Art Online. There's waifus in Sword Art Online. There aren't waifus in Dot Hack, really.
Oh,
It's
no
I
waifus.
mean, there are some, but like, you know what I mean? Like it's more focused on like the game and the gameplay. It's not focused on anime tropes or anything like that.
Yeah.
Um yeah, no, I am collecting, big collecting. I even have like all these. I have 12 of these boxes that I've got recently. So like, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. There's card games that came out back in 2003. There's books, there's manga, there's anime. It was a big thing and then it kind of just died. I think it's
Yeah,
because Sword
because
Art probably.
I didn't know anything about the series until I met you.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck is that? And then I think I've only ran into like 1 or 2 other people who've ever talked about this. I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, it's definitely an eclectic thing, but I think it would have been bigger. I mean, I guess I don't know, like people my age know about Sign, like the anime Sign, Dahak Sign,
Hmm.
because it was on Adult Swim at night. So you might like maybe have seen some of that occasionally.
Probably a fever dream for
Yeah, it
me.
has a
If
really
I
good
saw it, I'd
opening.
be like,
It has a
oh,
really good opening song, and like there's like a woman dancing, like she has like a red bodysuit on. She has a VR headset on. She's like doing like big like DDR moves, and it's like the J-pop song playing in the
this
background.
already sounds familiar,
Yeah,
but like I'll have to go YouTube it later.
yeah,
I'm
like
sure I
yeah,
probably
exactly.
remember
Like that
it.
is what Dahak Sign is, and it's the prequel to the game series. Like they really tried to make it a thing very quickly, but they kind of did everything a little too fast. I think that's what kind of killed
Oh,
itself. Um, but yeah, like the GU games are pretty cheap. Yeah, on PSN, they're very cheap on there too. Like I bought my GU copy um probably for like $20 once, but like for PS4, but yeah, it's gone down as low as like $5 before. Same thing on like Steam and stuff. So like the
oh,
GU
okay.
series is very easy to get a hold of. It's the original series that's not, but I think it's because it came with the Liminality DVDs, and like
Yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna re-release these. Like Japan got them in their dot hack gift or sign releases. Like there was a re-release of them like on Blu-ray. We didn't get that because no one cares about us.
Of course
But
we didn't.
yeah, exactly.
We don't get any of the cool stuff.
Yeah. But that is my required rant of dot hack for this week. But yeah, no, dot hack is great. It's called this series, people abbreviate it to IMOQ because each of the games in English have a different name. So infection, mutation, outbreak, quarantine. So that's why they just abbreviate it as that. But in Japan, it's part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. There's no
Okay.
anything else necessarily in there. Um, but yeah, that was my number 3. It's kind of cheating because it's a series, but honestly, again, it's essentially one big game if you just
Yeah,
look
they
at it.
just have it in pieces.
Yeah, and it is kind of a cash grab because each of them were like $50 back at the time. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, what's your number 2?
My number 2,
Yeah, it's your turn now.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Ooh.
And a lot of people give me crap about that one because they like the original better, which I totally get. 7 Remake is my favorite. It might be more of a nostalgic thing for me as well. I know the game's not that old. But 7 Remake was like the first actual JRPG that I streamed because I never finished 10. So 10 I don't really count, but 7 was the one that like made me want to become a JRPG streamer. So I have a lot of attachment to that game, but I just love it overall. I do like the old, the original version. I have a lot of complaints about that one. I
Yep.
won't go over all of them, but it's an older game.
Yeah. Old game's
Older
old.
games are like that. You just can't help it. It's a learning process. But yeah, 7 Remake is my number 2. I honestly would put it as number 1, but my number 1 game is even more nostalgic and I can't replace that number 1 spot. But 7 Remake is my number 2, but we'll see if that stays because I think 16 will take that spot next month. But
Until remake 2 comes out, and then you'll be
I
all
know
over
I'm
that.
so excited for Rebirth. I was very disappointed with the state of play. I was like, please give us a date. That's all I want. Just a date for
It
Rebirth.
might be a Jeff Keighley's thing, so like give it about a week or
Yeah.
so. It should be at the Games Fest probably.
That yeah, we were talking about that the other day. I was like, please just I want the date. I don't care about anything else. Just tell me when.
Hmm.
Is it this
I
winter or is it next year?
I think you're right. I think a Jeff Keighley thing. There's gonna be a lot of them. Um,
Yep.
I will tell you that when I first played Final Fantasy VII to get ready for the new one coming out,
Yeah.
I just couldn't get into it. But the second one, I got the one that just came out not as long ago. I really got into. I thought it was really good. I think it looks just amazing.
The graphics are amazing.
Yeah,
Like you go from the little blocky Lego looking characters than the original and you go to like super realistic and I just love how they expanded more like on Midgar and stuff
yeah,
like that.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong, the original is not bad, but it's just the remake just that was also another game that gave me very high expectations for games. I compare everything to that and Chrono Trigger. So,
Yeah, it remake is what until I replayed it. Remake is what I wanted Final Fantasy 15 to be, because when I first played Final Fantasy 15, I expected something that was akin to Kingdom Hearts, but more mature
mhm.
and just more Final Fantasy. And then like the
Yeah.
way that 15 plays, you're holding the button really instead of like actually actively pushing buttons. But then when remake came out, I was like, oh, this is what I want. It's very much it is Kingdom Hearts, but it's like old Kingdom Hearts with
Yes.
but it's also you have different characters to play as. So
Mhm.
I really enjoyed that a lot. I hated playing as Aerith, but like I like playing as Tifa, and I like playing as Cloud. The other two not so much, but yeah, no that
Not
man.
Barrett?
Hi, Barrett's okay. Like
Oh,
I
I love
like him as a
Barrett.
person. I just don't like playing as him, I should say.
Yeah, he's on my number 1, like, Cloud. I like playing with Cloud the best, but I do like when I get my Barrett moments. I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh, it's so fun having the gun," you
Yeah.
know? But, yeah, I just love that game. It's just the music, the graphics, they expand on the story. Um, yeah, that's just I wanna make it number 1 in my spot, but it's gotta be number 2, but, yeah, I'm really excited for 16. I think 16 might take my
I
2nd
keep
spot.
forgetting that 16's coming out. And I think it's because I'm not ready for it. I don't have time for it. I'm
yeah.
Yeah.
probably not going to touch it like until probably Christmas time. Like that's really what I'm thinking because I just don't have time for it. It's going to be another God of War Ragnarok where I bought it because I was like, "Oh, it's here. I might as well buy it." And I play an hour of it. I loved it. And I stopped playing it because I was like, "Oh, I have other games I need to play."
I know it's so hard, and all these games come out at the same time. Like, I haven't touched Resident Evil 4 remake yet. That was what, 2 months ago? I haven't
Yeah.
touched it.
Yeah, I
I
like
don't have time.
what else do I have here? Like I have more like Yakuza games or
I still need to play that.
Lost Judgment and stuff like that is over here, both of the Judgment games. I have The Last of Us, the remake of it for PS5. And I still should play that at some point, but like too many games. Too many games.
Yeah.
Maybe someday I'll play them. Maybe
I
someday.
think I think I buy more games than I actually play.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, I just got one today, and it's funny. I showed it to Alex, and I'm like, I bought it because it was on sale, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pop this in my system. It's not gonna go in there because I have so many that I'm playing right now.
Yep.
So
I know, and JRPGs are the worst games to fit with a really busy schedule because it's on average 40 to 50-hour game.
yeah,
If you're not doing everything, like
Yeah.
there's not enough time.
and like for me, for certain games, especially if I really, really like it, I want to do everything in the game. So that's what's happening with me in Xenoblade 2, is that I'm really
And there's a
enjoying the
lot.
game. And there's a lot of quests, and I'm enjoying doing mostly all the quests. Each of the blade, to go back to Xenoblade 2, like each of the blades, like the extra ones that you get, it seems like they have their own quests too. And like so you can
Oh,
do
I'm sure
quests
they
with
do.
them. But like yeah, no, like I have to do everything in the game. Otherwise, like I don't know, I can't finish the game at that point.
I have
um,
never I have never 100% a game. I've been nowhere
or I
close.
get pretty close, I guess I should say. Like Kingdom Hearts, the first one, I have the platinum trophy for it for PS4. Because I did everything. I even like speed run the game or whatever. I played on easy mode to get to the place in less than 10 hours. Um, I did all the gummy ship stuff. I did all of the Ultima weapon stuff, all the synthesis things. But yeah, no, games are too long now, but they're also too fun. So we'll just keep buying them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ben.
So now that we're getting down to the last two, um, I had to, this one was difficult to put them like between two and one, but
Mhm.
this one like is literally a classic. So Blue Dragon on Xbox 360.
Oh.
Um, so that game, another one drawn by the
I was about to
same
say
guy. That
more
yeah,
Toriyama. Yeah,
yeah,
two Toriyamas
Yep.
in a row.
yeah. But just the story, the battling is awesome. You know, you got these kids trying to save their village, and the way they battle is they have this giant shadow of like a dragon or what come up behind them, and they battle with that. Super unique there. I remember when I got it, I was like, man, this is like 2 discs on 360. It's not an easy one to find now
I
at
have
all.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do want a copy of it at some point, but I've just got way too much in my collection right now. And if I ever get my limited run giant box that I bought, I have no idea where I'm going to put that. But it was just such a cool game, and it was funny because like Xbox 360 at the time was starting to kind of like was doing really well, and then they had the red ring of death, and then they started slipping, and then PlayStation 3 is like, hey, we screwed up, we're going to drop our price, and then it just kind of like fell in between there. Never was on PlayStation 3. It was
Mm.
only on that system. So good. Such a good game. You could buy it actually on your Xbox. So my Xbox Series X, if I go to the store, I can actually buy it there,
Yeah.
but it's like 40-50 bucks.
Yeah.
I'd rather just try and find a used copy and throw it in.
Yeah, because you
Um,
just need the used copy to check to make sure you own it. You don't need to put in any of the discs or anything because your disc is just a key to
yeah,
then download the game since it's a backwards compatible 360 game.
yeah,
So yeah, because I bought it for like $10, I want to say, and that was like 2 years
Jeez.
ago. But
it's
yeah,
gone up.
yeah, that's a game that that was one of the games that made me want a 360. Because I like seeing it in like either like a Game Pro magazine or whatever magazine I was reading back in the day. There was like the big centerfold thing, and it like had like here's Blue Dragon, and here's all about like this, and it's supposed to be a very good, like it's like a spiritual successor kind of to like a Dragon Quest or something like that, because it very
Mhm.
much looks like Dragon Quest, and it's a JRPG. um and Toriyama art and everything. And from what I remember playing, I really did enjoy it. There's also like an anime series. There's two different DS games, I want to say. There's Blue Dragon Plus, which
Yeah.
is the game for the 360, but more simplified for a DS. So more akin to like an actual like Dragon Quest game.
Mhm.
And then there's like a sequel, I think, on there as well for DS. But yeah, it's crazy that like that is a game that never really went anywhere else. It is stuck on the Xbox family
Yeah.
consoles.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can download it on PC or anything.
I
I
don't
think
know. That's a good
I think
question.
you can. It's been a while. I think you can, but it's super expensive to download.
Hmm.
I if I remember correctly, I added it to my favorites because I would love to have that game in any capacity. Uh, because to be honest, if it's digital, I'm more likely to play it. Nowadays,
Yeah.
I love the physical aspect of games, but for me and time wise, sometimes it's easier just to start up my system, play for whatever time I have, and then go on with my day. But that game is still on my list of that game is so much fun, and I really pushed the limits of what the Xbox 360 could do graphically.
Mm-hmm. It definitely did. It's another one of those games that we talked about earlier, where it's another like cell shaded game. It was really one of the first cell shadeds where I'm
Hmm.
like, this looks very pretty, and you're doing a good job at it. Keep at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Ben, you know both of my games here probably, but you don't know which ones right now. But I'm not gonna make you guess. So, my number 2 is Persona 4 Golden, or Persona 4.
Oh, I have that game. I still need to play it.
So, Persona 4 is
I was not expecting
probably
that.
technically my favorite JRPG. It probably is. The other one I just like a little bit more.
Okay.
Persona 4 Golden are excellent. I really like Persona 3 as well. Persona 5, it has really good stuff in it. I don't like the characters. So which I've said multiple times on this podcast and in streams and stuff. So fight me, I guess. But Persona 4 I played um probably a little bit after it came out. And I really enjoyed it. I played Persona 3 and really enjoyed it, and then Persona 4 Golden was announced, and Persona 4 Golden came out for Vita, PlayStation Vita, and
Hmm.
it was the game where they knew that you were buying a Vita just for Persona 4 Golden, because it's not in arm's reach, but like I have the special edition of Persona 4 Golden. So like it came with like a plastic case for your Vita. So like it flips open, and also came with like a carrying case as well, like a spongy like carrying case where you could put in like some games and stuff in it. And so like it really was, and it came with like not screen protector but like a decal for your buttons and stuff. So
Hmm.
it really was the, hey, we know that you're buying a Vita just for this game, and this, so like here, go all out, decorate your Vita in Persona. And Golden is a much better version of the game. It gives you a new dungeon, it gives you a new character who I hate, but like it gives you just more opportunities to doing things. So like Persona, have you ever played a Persona game, Michaela?
I have not. They've been on my list forever. I was actually gifted Persona 4 Golden like 2 years ago.
Okay.
I just never got started because I know those series are so long. Like,
Yeah.
I hear people put 100 hours at least. I hear people put 500 hours
It
in it.
it
Um,
depends. Depending on how you play, I don't know. But not.
Depends how good the game can suck me into it. It
I
depends.
think you would
Like,
really enjoy 4 Golden a lot.
okay, I do have it.
And it's shorter than 5.
Yeah, I heard
So
5, or is 5 and 5 Royal different in length?
yes, but not by much.
Okay. Oh, okay. Because everybody plays Royal, and that's the one where I hear people
Yeah.
put a lot of
Yeah, I
hours
haven't
into.
played all of Royal yet because I played the vanilla 5, and then I felt like Royal came out too soon after.
Hmm.
And so I played a little bit of Royal. I bought it for PS4. Um but then I kind of stopped playing it because other games came out, and I was just like, I already played 5. I don't need to play this. Like I know there's different story elements are changed. There's new characters and stuff like that. Same thing as 4, except 4, there's different gameplay elements that are added in 4. So like you can go out at nighttime, where you couldn't before at certain times. You could only like go to your job or something at um I want to say, but like, yeah, there's just certain restrictions that were just taken off for Golden. So, um,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, Golden's very much a PS2 game though at heart. So like, if you like JRPGs, especially like PS2 JRPGs, like grindy but like good grindy, like it is an excellent game to play. The characters are awesome. I always talk about this, and other people seem to agree, is that Persona 4 has the best characters. Persona 3 has the best story, and Persona 5 has the best like UI mechanics and like style. Um, so yeah, if Persona 3 remake is true, um, I'm very excited for that game because I was very underwhelmed with the release of the PlayStation Portable version of Persona 3. I bought it
Hmm.
because I want to support Persona and support Persona 3, but like the the Persona 3 portable version is a visual novel. Like, you're not walking around in your corridors. It's very much, here's a map, here's a cursor. You're going to move your cursor and click here, and you're only a person when you're in the dungeons. And so like
Oh,
you're not
okay.
actively like walking around and stuff. And that's why I miss, and that's why people would rather have the Fez version, which is the second version of Persona 3, which had like extra stuff to it. Essentially, like uh, Persona 3 to Persona Fez is Persona 4 to Persona Golden, except that Portable came out and had even extra stuff on it, but also nerfed
Hmm.
some other things. But like, yeah, I let's see if I can do this. There's all my Persona stuff up there. Let's do it. Come on. Yeah, there's all my stuff.
Oh, dang, I could see that so clearly.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, I like Persona a lot. Persona 4 is definitely my favorite of all of them. Um, but yeah, it is the pinnacle of JRPG. It is. I am playing an anime. Like, that's what it is. That's what it feels like, and that's what it should feel like for any
That's what always
JRPG.
piqued my interest about it because it's an anime style
And it has a
world.
good, it actually has a good anime. Persona 4 anime is pretty good. I wouldn't say about Golden's anime, but Persona 4 the animation is pretty good. So I recommend that after you play Persona 4, but
Hmm.
it's still a fun time. But yeah. Yeah, you didn't expect that one? You didn't expect Persona 4 out of
No,
there?
I
I
wasn't
expected
expecting
it.
Persona. No.
I saw so far I saw Dot Hack, I saw Persona.
There's one
There's
more.
one in my there's one in my mind, but I don't want to say it.
You know what
But
it is.
I got a feeling I'm right on that one,
Oh,
which you're probably right on my last one.
I don't know actually. Now I'm not sure. Geez, geez, I've been found out. Okay, the moment that we've all been waiting for
Number ones.
was Michaela's number one.
I think by now everybody knows my number one because it's like Chrono Trigger. I compare a lot of games to it. Um, but it is Nintendo, it is Pokemon, and it's Pokemon Emerald. That is my all-time favorite game. I know there is better games than Pokemon Emerald, but that one's so nostalgic to me. It was just so different for the Pokemon series at the time.
Hmm.
I love that game to death. I think I've played it probably 30 or 40 times. I'm not even over exaggerating. I've played it so many times as a kid and I just love it. It's just it's my all-time favorite game. It's just every time I turn it on and I see the little cutscene and hear the music play, I cry every time. Every single time. I even after playing after all this time, I've watched other people play it. I cry every time. I just love that game. Gen 3 is my favorite of the Pokemon series. And I'm
Yeah.
a big Pokemon fan. I've literally played every game. I've led Pokemon the past 25 years. And yeah, Emerald is my number one. And I don't think I can ever replace my number one. I think
Okay.
that one's there to stay.
Yeah. Um, we've had you on this show before. So if you all want to see that, where we go more into a deep dive about streaming and just like, I don't know, kind of mental health stuff as well for a bit. Go ahead and take a
Yeah.
look at that one, because it's pretty fun. But yeah, you talked about Emerald as well, because we talked about Pokemon, and I kind of crapped on it. I'm gonna do it again too.
It's
Um,
okay. It's not the best game ever made.
no,
It's
no, that's not
not.
my problem.
But Pokemon game, it was a good Pokemon
Yeah,
game.
so I've said this before. I've never played, or I never owned Emerald. It was one of those
Hmm.
games I borrowed. I had Ruby as a kid,
I
and
started with Ruby,
and
obviously.
I hated the sound chip. I hate band music, I guess. Because
I love the.
everything
Oh,
sounds like
I
a
love
trumpet.
it.
Everything's a trumpet, and it's
Yes,
annoying.
it gets annoying for some people, but oh my god, when I
Yeah.
played that as a kid, and I was like taking on the Elite Four. That soundtrack was just. I get it though. It's not everybody's cup of tea,
Yeah,
but
I
that just got me so pumped up as a kid.
I don't know. I'm just so used to either like the 8-bit, like or 6 4-bit. I don't know, whatever a Game Boy is. It's not
Hmm.
8-bit, but yeah, I'm used to like that type of music, or I'm used to like a Super Nintendo at the time, like orchestrated, really good sound cards.
Hmm.
Whereas, yeah, the gross Game Boy Advance sound card that can only make trumpets. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it works for certain things, but then sometimes it ruins re-releases of games, and
Hmm.
we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But yeah, Emerald Gen 3 isn't a bad gen. I would say pretty much all the gens are pretty good except Sun and Moon, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I'm not a fan of Sun and Moon or X and Y.
Oh, really? I loved X and Y
I
because
everybody's hit or miss with X and Y. They either love it or they don't like it. It was just I didn't like the timing with X and Y.
mm,
That I think that was my main problem was the
yeah,
timing.
X and Y came out a good time in my life because I started like with the very beginning and all that. I was a certain age, like when all the original games came out. I played Red, I played Blue, Yellow,
Hmm.
Gold, Silver. I never played Crystal, actually. I never owned Crystal.
Oh, Crystal's a
Um,
good one.
yeah.
Yeah, that one was good.
But then like went through them all. I didn't like Gen 5 at really. And
Yeah, I stop at 4 with my favorites.
yeah, like 4 was a really good one. I liked the Diamond Pearl stuff there, and Platinum is honestly Platinum regular is like one of my top um Pokemon games because it just does everything right. The story is awesome. The extra Giratina stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
And all the new Pokemon are really fun and cool.
Hmm.
Um, and being the first DS game as well, like it does really cool things with like the touch
I
screen.
love that game. Yeah,
Um,
Platinum is probably my second favorite
yeah,
Pokemon game of all time.
but then Gen 5 kind of ruined it for me, especially with the Gen 5 version 2 games because I was working at GameStop at the time and it ruined it for me because of the competitive people. It just
Yeah.
kind of ruined the game. Is that kind of my fault? Probably, but at the same time, it just, I don't know, put a bad taste in my mouth. So I just kind of didn't like Pokemon for a bit. And then Gen 6 came out for X and Y, and it was just new and it just looked really nice. And it was just like my introduction back into Pokemon. Like I played all the others and stuff, but like I didn't really feel anything like Gen 4 until Gen 6 again. Um,
Hmm.
and then yeah, Gen 7, I didn't even play the Ultra versions, like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I skipped those because I didn't like Sun and Moon at all.
Those ones were better
Yeah,
than the first one.
but
So
not by
like if you
much.
ever yeah, if you ever wanted to like if you were ever like, "Huh, do I remember a whole lot about Sun and Moon? Should I give it another go?" Go to Ultra Sun and Moon,
Hmm.
but they're still not, you know.
Yeah.
Those ones were just thrown in there like they should never done Sun and Moon. But the second part was a little bit better, but all that dialogue that you couldn't skip was that was the worst part.
How you how what do you think about Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire?
I actually really enjoyed it,
Okay.
but just because me and the nostalgia factor, I rather play the original.
Yep.
But it was really cool seeing them in, more of a 3D style. But I wish it wasn't on the DS because it was like they threw that game out like when the DS was done. And I wish it was the Switch or something instead. And they could have
Yeah.
made it a little bit better. But I liked it. I keep talking about that. I need to replay those because at that time I just didn't have time to game. So I only did one playthrough of it.
Yeah.
So I
I don't
really need to play it again.
I don't own those games anymore. I'm gonna be honest. I sold a bunch of my Pokemon games that I was like, I don't like these, like certain ones where I was just like,
Mhm.
I don't play these anymore. I'm gonna get rid of them, and then I regret selling them because now they're worth a ton more than they were.
They're worth a
Yeah.
lot. I actually just bought a case for my Omega Ruby
Yeah,
game because I had the game, but I don't know what happened to the case. And I literally just
yeah,
bought that so it's complete again. But yeah, it's pricey now.
yeah. So like, I didn't like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, but I also think I don't really like Gen 3. I know the joke is too much water, the IGN too much water.
Yes.
But like
There's a lot of water
I
types.
agree though. Like there's a lot of water like in the terrain. There's a lot of just I don't know. I don't like the game a whole lot, but like it's not a bad game per se. It's also pretty good as far as giving us um like the first like real like perfected competitive or like actual like good stats and stuff for Pokemon. Because Gen 1 and Gen 2 were very much like we don't know what we're doing, and certain things are
Yeah,
overpowered than others. But then Gen 3 was very much like, all right, we should focus on tournaments. We should focus on actual battling with other players and see how that works.
which I enjoyed. I'm like, Emerald is my number one Pokemon game just for my overall nostalgic factor. And I just loved, the different elements of it. But I think I would technically have to go with Leaf Green as being the better one.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Leaf Green and Fire Red. I loved how you could do the battling with your friends with a little bumper thing you plugged into
Yep.
your Game Boy at the
The
time.
wireless
So
receiver or whatever it's
yeah, so
called.
I would say Leaf Green would probably be my number one, but there's just something about Emerald I love. But Leaf Green and Fire Red were the better game around that time.
Yeah.
But I love both so much, but it's like they both wanna fight for that number 1 spot, but just in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I love Leaf Green and Fire Red. Those are so good.
And Heart Gold and Soul Silver as well are excellent.
Oh, I love those ones too. Yeah, I would have to have a separate tier list of 5 for Pokemon games because
Mm-hmm.
they're all different when especially when they got remade. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Heart
Yeah.
Gold and Soul Silver, every time somebody tells me, "Oh, I took like a 10-year break from Pokemon, I don't know where to start again." I'm like, Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Yeah.
Like that will get you back into the Pokemon series again. Those remakes were perfect. I love them
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah. Exactly. Ben, what's your Pokemon takes? What's your Pokemon hot takes?
To be honest, and I've said it before, like I love Red and Blue. Um, that's my nostalgia. Like I remember getting a Game Boy later. I had the Red Pocket, and with it came Pokemon Red and Blue, and I played those for the first time that way. I've always said like the cart Pokemon games are probably some of the best games out there. They're so good. I recently, a couple of months ago, I started playing Pearl on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. It doesn't have that same feel of like playing it before,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
but
agree.
it's still not bad. Last newest one I've like new I play a little bit of Shield was the last one I played.
I love Shield and a lot of people
Yeah.
hate it.
Yeah, but I feel like with Pokemon, there's especially with Pokemon games, people are so they have such a deep following and such huge fans
I
that
agree.
something that is if there's something little wrong with it,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter that that game's
It
trash. And
ruins the
so
whole thing.
yes.
Just like
So
Scarlet and Violet. I love Scarlet and Violet. The story was so different. I was blown away at the end. I was like, I wasn't expecting that, but everybody hates it because the little graphic
yeah.
No,
mishaps.
I haven't finished it, and has nothing to do with the graphics necessarily. I mean, maybe to a degree, like the chugging of certain frame rates and things like that,
Mhm.
probably did affect it for me, and that's probably why I played other games instead. Um, if the game ran better, then I probably would have stuck around more. I'm not saying it's a bad game or anything. I really did enjoy my time with it. It's just I focused on other things that I was like, oh, I should play this instead, and I did. And I'll go back to Pokemon maybe eventually.
That's
Um,
understandable.
but yeah, no, I also felt like I was playing it wrong for a bit. um, there's just like because it's so open and there's so many different things to do. Like there's certain things where it's like, oh, you can go anywhere, but there really is a specific order. They're just not telling you. I feel for
As
certain
long as you
things.
you got the 3 options, but, like, you can bounce back and forth.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess it just seems like there's certain like level creep in that game where it's like, oh, now I'm
the leveling is all over the place.
yeah,
That's one thing about being open. It's hard to do open world Pokemon because you have to be certain levels,
yeah. I kind of
Yeah.
but
wish like that the trainers themselves would like change with you. Like that'd be
I
really
that was
cool.
my number 1 complaint
Like
about it.
yeah, if I go to the ice gym or whatever first, they should be around where I am. They should always be and like rubber band to my levels
Yeah,
approximately.
that was my complaint about the game
Yeah, because
because I was
otherwise
over leveled and I would one shot everything.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, no.
Which was fine, like, I got through the game faster, but I was like or I wish they had difficulty settings for Pokemon games now because they are
Yeah.
very easy, which I get it, it's supposed to make it to where everybody can play it, but I wish there was different difficulties. Um,
Yeah.
but that was mainly my own complaint was how leveling was with open world.
Mhm. Yeah. But yeah, Pokemon's good. I knew we were gonna get Pokemon here from you. I mean, just look at your background. Look at all the
I
Bulbasaurs.
know, I mean, there's some other stuff, but yeah, Pokemon definitely
Yeah,
takes over.
yeah, definitely. All right, Ben. What is your number one?
You should not be surprised, but it's Nino Kuni,
Yeah.
um,
I never played
Wrath of the White.
those, but they're so cute.
I would say the first one's the best. The Wrath of the White Witch. Uh, Emotionally, you will probably cry. I know I did.
Oh, I'll cry for
Yeah.
The
sure.
beginning is just sad.
Oh my god, it's
Oh, no.
but obviously a very famous anime artist did all the artwork for it,
Mhm.
and it shows because it literally looks amazing. They just released, I know they did like a better version for PS4, um
Mhm.
and um and on Switch, and I will tell you, like, watching my son play it on his OLED, amazing looking.
Yeah.
And that game is not aged a day, I feel. And I played it on my PS5 and stuff. Um, that game is so well done, down to um, you know, it does have a Pokemon feel because you get
Yeah.
things like that. The second one's a little different. I didn't really get into the second one very much, but the first one is great because you had all these little stories going around of like alternate universes, and it just was so well done. And then yeah, it is super emotional. Um,
Mhm.
the beginning and the end are super emotional.
Yeah.
Uh,
Keep talking. I'm disappearing. I'll be right back. Yeah, just keep talking.
and so like, so if I would play this as like a on your own sort of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like it is like I remember like I was playing it and my wife's like, "Why are you crying right now?" I was like, "This
Oh,
is so
no.
sad." It really is. But it's just you look at that and it is set for like all different types of levels. So somebody that's new could come in and do it and figure things out. But then it also has like those higher end level areas where,
Mhm.
and you do see everything on the field, you know? So you could come in. Did you get the top version of it?
So no, this is. I think this came with the DS game from Japan. So in the game, I don't know if you explained like the way you do like spells and stuff, like the character like technically draws them. So it was originally a DS game. Um
Oh, and you could draw with the
and you would draw with the
stylus.
stylus the certain things. So like this is the Japanese spell book. And so it
Oh
showed
my god, I love
this
it.
went in tandem with the DS game because it taught you like how to do the spells and certain stuff. It's also like a monster like compendium and all of
I
that.
love the DS. Oh my god, it
But
was
like
so ahead of its time.
it even has like all like the stories and stuff in it too that was in like this is his spell book.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
I think there is American version of the spell book with the top version. Um I bought a PS3 because of Nino Kuni.
Yeah.
Because I was so amazed by the Studio Ghibli, like just visuals. It's a
Mhm.
JRPG that was going back to its roots for those types of like old school JRPGs. It had, like you said earlier when I was leaving, like the Pokemon elements. It has a lot of good things to it, and yeah, it caused me to buy a PS3, and I'm very happy I bought a PS3.
I'm not gonna say that that's the reason my son was named that, but probably. We'll just say yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
No, no, no. My wife would kill
Oh, I
me.
was
Uh,
like
although I have 4 boys and 1 girl, and my girl, we were trying to think of a really strong, different name out there, right?
Mhm.
And so when we came up with Aria, um, everyone's like, "Where'd you guys get that from?" So I was just like, "You ever watch Game of Thrones?" And they're like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "We'll go with that." But my wife was okay with it. She's like, "Yeah, I love that character from Game of Thrones."
Mm.
Uh, I knew a friend of mine back in the day. All of his kids are named after video game stuff.
But you have to be like subtle, you know? You can't just be like, "Hey, Sasuke Jones, get over here."
He's got a child named Link.
That's fine.
Okay, I like that though.
Yeah,
Link is a cool name. A lot of people name their daughter Zelda. I mean, look at Robin Williams,
yeah.
Yeah.
Zelda. I love it, and I'm actually happy now. Speaking of game names, Final Fantasy 16 is coming out, and I share my middle name with Clive's Chocobo now. So, and I
Oh,
Ooh.
didn't like my middle name, so now I'm excited about it, and I feel
Yeah.
like everybody's gonna have this name now.
I think it's funny because like back in the day, like it's like, oh, that's kind of dumb, but now it's like totally acceptable. You know?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it though. Like, there's a lot of good names in games. I'm just like, I don't know,
Yeah.
no shame, no
Yeah,
shame.
exactly.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, no
but
shame unless again, if you're doing like the really weird cringy names where it's like, I don't know, you're some
Naruto.
yeah, you're some white kid and you're named Naruto. Like that just doesn't
yeah,
fly. Like
No, it
definitely like
doesn't. That's just
there's
you can
multiple
name pets.
reasons.
You can name your pet stuff
Yeah.
like that, but please do not name your children Japanese character names if they are
Yeah.
not,
Exactly. They will
not
get bullied.
Japanese.
They will get bullied.
yeah.
Yes, they
They will.
will.
It will not be fun for them. But yeah, like this game here, um, and I think the Switch version is just as good as the PS4 version.
Hmm.
To be honest,
I want to
it,
play
it
it on the Switch.
yeah, and having an OLED, it just being a Ghibli Studios thing, everything just pops. All the
Yeah, their
colors pop.
color is just insane. It's
They,
yeah,
you
I
always
I
see
love Studio Ghibli.
you always see like on TikTok, people are like, "What would this game look like if it was a Ghibli studio?"
Yeah, I love those.
This game is an actual game done by them,
The
and
second
Yes.
so
the second game isn't though, I believe. I think it's just the first one.
yeah, the second one I didn't get into very much. They switched up the mechanics of the battle system,
Yeah.
and it's kind of weird and kind of like difficult to get into. But this one's perfect. Like I said, you can the way that the characters do, you can switch between characters, and everybody does something different. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like a perfect set.
I forget his
For that.
name. The older man. He reminds me of Lupin. That's why I like him.
Yes, yes,
He gives
the
me
I
a
one with
know
the
who
loop.
you're
guns.
talking.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
comparison
Yeah.
gets thrown around a lot.
He gives me
I know
Lupin vibes.
exactly.
I'm like, yes, you are good. That was even before like I
Yeah.
was super big in the Lupin because I played it on like PS3 originally. So I had like the steelbook for PS3. I want to say the PS3 and the Switch version are exactly like pretty close to each other, and the PS3 version's excellent. So like you should have no problem playing on Switch. But
Oh
I
yeah,
also own the PS4 remastered version.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't played that one yet, but I got it on sale from like a Walmart because I think Ben, I think I found it because of you, because like one of those TikTokers or
yeah.
whatever who was like, "Hey, just look at your clearance stuff at Walmart and
I
see
I
how
keep
much it
seeing
is."
those.
Because like I got that Nino Kuni and Nino Kuni 2 for PS4. I want to say they were like $5 a piece,
Yeah.
so that's where I got
A-
them.
as a non scummy reseller, um, myself, I will tell you, like when I'm in Walmart, I scan stuff all the time there
I do too. I
because
use the app.
yeah, because they don't tell
They don't
you.
change it.
Mm-mm. There was a couple I watched on TikTok, and I was gonna join their Discord, but their Discord now is $50 a month.
Oof.
Oh, because they're giving you tips on what to save on.
Yeah, they have a list, and it's a bunch of resellers as well for like Walmart and Target. And I get it, like it would pay for itself, but for me, I only sell like video game stuff. So me spending $50 a month is not gonna.
No, just you can still find people on
Yeah,
TikTok who will tell you what is on sale that week. I see it all the time.
Mhm.
And
yeah,
Target does it too, by the way. They don't always reprice their stuff, or
Yeah,
it's always on sale online and they just
yeah,
price match it.
that's what I did
yeah.
with Xenoblade, the first Switch like Chronicles Definitive
Oh, did
Edition.
you?
Yeah, I price matched it with themselves because I'm like,
I always
it's
do that.
it's like $20 cheaper on here, dude. And he's like, okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they always have sales online. I always told people to do that with Breath of the Wild. It would
yeah,
never be on sale at the store. I'm like, no, compare it with Target online. It's on sale for 40.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Even though their website technically says like this is an online only price, and then you go to the store and you're like, hey, price
They'll
match
still
this
do it.
online. They're like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
They had to price match it.
yeah,
They said they'll price match. But
exactly.
I really want to get to the Nino Cooney games. That's actually like next on my list for my off stream games.
Hmm.
That's actually one of the reasons why Tears of the Kingdom did make it my top 5. If you've seen Princess Mononoke, which is Studio
Oh
Ghibli,
yeah.
the game is literally based on that.
Yeah,
And that's why I'm liking Tears of the Kingdom so much because it gives me a Studio Ghibli vibe because
yeah,
I love those movies so much.
yeah. Like now, like I didn't really realize that until you talked
It's
about it. Like,
literally Princess
well,
Mononoke.
there's that.
And
There's like the poison and all of that,
the
and
first cutscene, yeah,
yeah,
with
the
his
arm,
arm,
yeah, like
with
yeah,
Ashitaka, it's literally the same thing. And then when you go do the dragon tears and
yeah,
the little teardrop pops up, it
mm-hmm,
sounds like Studio Ghibli music. And that teardrop thing happens
yeah,
when a certain part happens in Prince Mononoke. I won't,
yeah.
spoil it. But big scene in the movie where everything goes berserk.
I haven't seen that movie in a long
Yeah.
time.
Oh, it's so good. Oh my gosh, I
That
love
was
it so
that was
much.
my first Miyazaki film, and
Oh, really?
I got it on VHS as like a 10-year-old or something because my grandma at the time, like she knew that I liked cartoons, and like I guess she knew that I liked Pokemon, and she was like, "Oh, there's this movie. You should watch this." And I was like, "Okay." And I turned the back, and like it's rated PG-13. I'm like, "Am I allowed to watch this?" And I watched it anyway, and like it didn't traumatize me, but it was like a
It's
lot
brutal.
for a kid. I was like, "Oh wow, this
It's
happened."
brutal. Like they like shoot spears and their heads
Mm-hmm.
fly off and like,
All the
it's
gore and all that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's really brutal. Like, but that's the point of it.
yeah.
I like that about Studio Ghibli. Like they're very nice movies. Like sometimes they're romanticized and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
like they really like show the real world like
Yeah,
issues in it, and it's like, yeah, I love them. They're chaotic. It's a little bit of everything. It's life, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Exactly.
But
I will.
I'll save that for another time. I could talk
Yeah,
about
let's talk.
plots of Studio Ghibli.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someday we'll talk about Ghibli films or Miyazaki films in general, just so I have an excuse to talk about Lupin the Third, The Castle of Cagliostro, and we'll just talk about that for 2 hours because love that film. I have it on 4K HDR. It's great.
Oh my, that's me with Perfect Blue.
Oh, Perfect Blue. Ooh, that's so good too.
Yep, I have
Uh,
that on Blu-ray 4K.
oh, jeez. Okay.
Uh,
Anyway, I guess it's me. Ben, you know what this is. Michaela, you probably know what this is.
I probably know, but I don't know because you kind of threw me with a loop with the Persona 4.
I already.
Oh, it
talked.
is Final Fantasy 6. Okay.
Hello, it is me.
A lot of people have 6 in like their top 5 or top 10
Well, it's
favorite
Final
games.
Fantasy 6. It's also Final Fantasy 6.
Did you get the Pixel Remasters copy?
No, I didn't. I'm really sad
Oh.
about it.
Oh no.
I own every single other version of this game. I think I told you. Yeah, I got like the PS1 Japanese version as well in the mail. Like it should be here soon. So I own every version of 6 now except the Pixel Remasters version.
I think you could still get the Switch copy from Play
That's what I
Asia
saw.
for under $100, but do not get the PS4. It is $500 at the moment. Just to
Wow.
let you know, which I own it, and I kind of sad I took the plastic off, but
Yeah.
it is
Yeah,
what
I
it
probably
is.
won't open it up. I'll probably just buy it digitally. Just
I'm buying it digitally. I'm not using that disc now.
Yeah, exactly. But 6 is excellent. I love the art on this. It's
I
so
love the art
nice.
for 6.
I love the like Terra up here, but like she's blonde Terra. I don't like blonde Terra, but it's a mono art, whatever. I like this Terra. I like the green haired Terra.
That's the
Um,
one I always think of.
yeah, exactly. And then even the trains here, so you can suplex a train on the box. Um, but 6 is one of those games that has spoiled me, and it's it's a game that so many other games try to recreate and they fail.
Yep.
Um, it's same thing with you and the Chrono Trigger thing. It's me
Yep.
with Tales of the Abyss, except Tales games in general just are not necessarily fun, I should say, because not all of them are fun, but like they have a certain enthusiasm that makes you enjoy it.
Mhm.
So like Tales of the Abyss does the same thing as Final Fantasy. So light spoilers for Final Fantasy 6 because I'm just gonna go into it. But basically, there are 2 different games of Final Fantasy 6. There's the beginning, and then there's the second half. And the second half is very open world, and things are very different. Um, and so you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can just go straight to the final boss in the second half. You can go and try to max out your party member stuff. You can go and try to get all of the espers, which are like the summons. But the way that this game works is that uh, esper materia, or like the summon materia,
Mhm.
you have it equipped to you, and then by the time when you have it equipped, you'll eventually just learn all those spells um, on your own. So you basically just max out the esper for each character, and then once it's maxed out for a character, you can unequip it. You don't have the summon anymore, but you get to keep all their magic. So like
Oh.
everyone can be a mage essentially in this game if you
Oh,
really
that's
work
so
it out.
cool.
And so like there is a certain point in the game, like in the second half, where you can either make a very powerful weapon, or you can keep the esper alive and keep like the esper like crystal. And so I keep the crystal because then you can learn ultima, and so I teach
Mhm.
everyone ultima. So that's
Yeah.
how I do. Like it takes a long time for them to learn it, but you're already grinding anyway and other things, so you might as well just give
Mhm.
it to one of your characters and just let them level up, and then just get ultima, and then the next one, and then the next one. You can just teach everyone that. Um, 6 is very cinematic, along with 4 and 5, but 6 really perfects it in my opinion because it has standalone characters who can kind of just do their own stuff. There's a point in the very early game where it's basically you're like all on a raft and like you all like kind of split up, and so it uh the narrator Moogle Mog will pop up and he'll be like, "All right, who do you want to play as right now?" And you can play in any order. And so you can either go in like the fighter Sabin's thing and just like see how his story progressed. You can go in Terra's way and see how like story progresses, and just like do it kind of in your own order. But then it makes you do everything until a certain point. All the characters play differently and fun. Every character is different, but everyone can still be a mage. But Sabin's
Interesting.
really awesome. I think they might have nerfed him a bit on later releases. I don't know how it works on the Pixel remaster, but you use fighting game commands or
Mhm.
combos in order to play and do his supers. So you will like click on I forget what it's actually called, but you'll click on like the spell button essentially for him, or his special button, and then you'll do like a quarter circle attack, and so that's a Hadouken. So he'll actually like do like a Hadouken essentially, or you'll do like a backwards full half circle, and that'll do another thing, or you can do like 2 quarter circles and something. So like you're doing fighting game commands, and you learn them either like as you go through the story, or if you just know fighting games and just try, you can kind of just like learn how to do certain things. But yeah, like there's just so much in this game, whether it's story, whether it's characters. The characters make this game. The characters are very similar to like Persona 4, where like Persona 4 has really really good characters. Persona 6 has, or Persona 6. Wow, maybe someday.
Like,
Final
do you know
Fantasy.
something we don't
Yeah,
know?
yes, I do. It's coming soon. Final Fantasy 6 has amazing characters as well, and I think like that's why it's one of my favorite games ever. It is excellent. The villain, I even talked about like Kefka. Kefka's awesome.
I hear
Um,
so much about Kefka. That's why I bought Pixel Remasters because I want to play 6. I want to know who the heck Kefka is
yeah,
exactly. Like, I've seen him, but I don't know anything about him.
yeah. Like he's awesome. Like he's such a cool guy. Like he's horrible, but he's awesome. The final boss is awesome. The music is awesome. It's similar to like, I mean, it's the what do you call it? The before version, like because like One Wing Angel was the next thing that we got.
Mhm.
But before that we got Dancing Mad, and like Dancing Mad is awesome. Like it's an amazing song. It's a long song because the boss is long, and you
Yeah.
just like see this huge thing coming up, and it just takes forever, and it's amazing. Um, but yeah, I own I own Final Fantasy 6 pretty much every way except the Pixel Remaster because you had to bring it up.
You could
Uh,
still get it
yeah,
from Play Asia.
yeah,
Has to be the
yeah.
Switch though.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I want it on Switch. Um, but I have even, wow, that feels loose. Do I not have the cardboard in there? Huh. I have
Doesn't
two.
sound like
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. I
I
have
can
two
hear it.
copies of this. Um, I bought. Do I have two? Maybe I might have three copies of this game.
Oh
Maybe because like I bought a copy. Like maybe I have two copies, but anyway, I have two copies of the Japanese version for some reason for Super Famicom, just by finding things. Because I buy like the cartridge on its own, and then I find the complete in box later on. So
Yeah.
then that's how I got this. So this is almost complete in box. This is missing the map, but it has
Oh.
the manual and all the other inserts and stuff in here. But yeah, it's just missing the map, unfortunately, and the map is expensive online, so that's why I'm probably never gonna get it, or I'll buy another complete in box at some point, like an actual complete in box. Um, yeah, the price for that's going up too. Because I got that for like 120, 130, and I think that has gone up by at least
Oh, I'm sure it has.
$80, maybe more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It'll keep going up. They keep releasing more Final Fantasy games. When 16 comes out, everything's gonna skyrocket again because everybody's gonna want to get back into Final Fantasy. And
exactly. I mean, thankfully, like if you really want to play through Final Fantasy, the Pixel remasters are available digitally for now.
yeah.
So you should, like, honestly, on Switch, you can play up to 12. I mean, excluding like
Yeah.
11, but since it's an
Hmm.
MMO, but you can play all the originals up to 6 with the Pixel remaster. You can play 7, 8, and 9. You can play 10, 10, 2, and you can play the 12 Zodiac Age or whatever
Hmm.
on there. And then 13 is Lost to Time because that's only on PC and
Hmm.
360 and PS3. And then yeah, 14 is an MMO, and then 15 is on everything too, it seems.
PlayStation and
Well,
PC.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
there's also Pocket Edition, which is really weird,
Oh, that's right. I forget about
but that's
that.
still voiced. I didn't realize that it's still like voice acted with like their regular
Yeah.
voices, so it just looks weird to me.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that
Yeah,
on mobile.
yeah, but yeah, that's my top
No, it's a good
thing
choice.
there.
I had a feeling it was gonna be a 6, but I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll have something different.
I tricked you with the Persona. Just kidding.
I
It's,
know the Persona threw me off. I hear a lot of people like the Persona series. I'm like, one of these days I'll see what all the hype is about, but
yeah,
it'll be a while.
a lot of these games on here, like if we had a top 10, I'd probably have a little bit of different things on here. Things might have been moved, honestly. But for what this is, yeah, I knew all of these games were going to be here. I just didn't know in what order.
The order's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard when you get to 5
Yeah, because like
slots.
I really like Mother 3 a lot. but I really like the Kingdom Hearts series more than just Kingdom Hearts, so that's why it's lower. Um, so like I don't know, it's just my brain, but also Dot Hack has gone up and dethroned a bunch of things just by being a weird cult classic that I love. Um, but yeah, no, everyone's list's pretty good, pretty.
So different.
Yeah, definitely.
Very
Um,
different.
but yeah, this has been a fun fun podcast again.
Oh yeah.
Been a long podcast. Oh
I know,
man.
I just realized the time.
Yeah, it's late for us over here.
I know, it's only 8:30 for me. I'm like, I'm gonna go play some more Zelda
Oh
for the rest
man,
of the night.
I will probably still do the same thing, and I probably shouldn't be doing that. Um,
It's
but
addicting.
it's so good. I love it.
I know.
Yeah, I'm finally at the point where I'm just like, I'm gonna go through the final story stuff, and maybe I'll beat it,
I'm
maybe I won't.
scared. Like, I don't want to get there. I haven't done any story yet. I
Oh
started
no,
with Rito Village, like I was starting to, and I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
no,
I've been doing the glyphs, and I'm just like, oh my god.
I start with Gorons, and then after that, then I was like, I guess I'm doing all these stories because I already did all of the tier stuff, so
Oh, okay.
I
I'm
did all
almost
that.
done with them.
I did all that first, as well as like the watchtower things. Like I did all those.
Yeah, that's until you get the map in time. You
Yeah,
actually know where you're going.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, excellent games all around. So yeah, this has been our podcast. If you like this, if you're watching the live stream, consider going over to youtube.com/GetAtGaming, where you can check out the video eventually whenever I put it up. Remember, if you're watching this live right now, we should have a new episode coming out tomorrow on audio services, whether that is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that kind of stuff. Um, we'll be talking about the PlayStation Showcase and how mediocre it was. But
What didn't happen?
yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, so yeah, you can find us on youtube.com/GetAtGaming. You can find us on podcast services. We're also on Spotify now. So if you follow us on Spotify, listen to us on Spotify, we appreciate it. There's also ways of like asking questions and stuff like that through Spotify, I believe, or like there's like a Q&A section. So if you want to leave questions, comments, concerns, definitely do that. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. If you are a person who likes to collaborate and you have an online presence as well, go ahead and message us either on Twitter or Facebook or anything, and we can try to get you on that episode and talk about something that you like, because collaboration episodes are fun.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we get a new perspective. We get to hear about Pokemon Emerald again. I get to make fun of it. It's great.
It's fine. It's fine. I
Yeah.
won't take it personal.
but yeah, Michaela, can you tell all the people here, everywhere, just where they can find you at, and again, what you
Oh
do?
gosh, I'm literally everywhere now. My name again is Gluten Free Waifu. That is my name on all my platforms. I'm mainly on Twitch, but I have been expanding to YouTube now. But
I
it's
saw
mainly just
that.
my, yeah, it's mainly just like my Twitch VODs, like my not the whole VOD, but I like
Edit
do
it.
like cutscene reactions and I post shorts and stuff. But I'm mainly active on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. But I'm literally everywhere. I do TikTok, Instagram, all that. But my username is the same throughout.
All right. All right. Cool. I don't even want to end it how we normally do, but Ben, how do you have anything else for the lovely people?
No. Just to get at it.
Yeah, get at it. And then Michaela, you say get at it.
Yeah, get at it. Get at your backlog list like me. I'm not
Okay.
doing that.
Oh man, now I feel like we're
I'm
all.
not doing that.
Oh, geez. All right. See you next time. Goodbye.